What's up, Ambient?
Good morning, Ambient. Oh, Ambient beat Paul this morning.
I know. And Paula, who's been tweeting already or
Yes,
posting.
I love that. I saw that. I was like, yes. Good morning, Paula.
Paula's been fired up since before the draft.
I know. Paula's my slice of home.
I was going to say, Paula, how does Detroit look?
Yeah, Canada relief. Here's the thing, though. Don't tell him that because, his Broncos haven't won a Super Bowl since 2015. So it can't be too nice.
The Broncos are turning into the Marlins. Remember when the Marlins would win a World Series and then that's it? And then win a World Series and then that's it? Broncos won a Super Bowl. Haven't had a winning season since.
Honestly, UConn basketball was that way till the recent, till they hired Dan Hurley.
Well, I don't know about that. Jim Calhoun had a hell of a run, but
right. But what are they? 6 for 6 in the championship game?
When they get to the championship game, they're undefeated, and they've only lost once in the Final Four.
Right. So I mean, if they make a run, they're
all right. Once they start going, But Calhoun early on lost a bunch of region finals. Leitner's first buzzer beater in the region final beat UConn. The leaner from about 19 feet.
Yes, it was, Cavenbaugh.
I forget who tweeted it, but he said the Knicks had no business winning game 2, and they did. The Sixers had no business winning game 5, and they did. So we're kind of where we should be.
Yeah, the problem, though, is the Knicks are undermanned. I mean, they can lose this series.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. It's May. We're officially a third of the way through the year. Let's get over the hump together, shall we? How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Oh, what a great playoff night we had last night. Overtimes, great finishes. Trent's going to have to work, I think, to come up with the play of the day. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well, David. You are right. Some good hoop last night, some good hockey last night, a baseball brawl last night. I don't know if it was good baseball, but there was a baseball brawl, little fight in the Rays game. So, yeah, a little bit of everything last night, David. As we say, not bad for a Tuesday.
Let me tell you something. The feelings getting hurt in the Brewers and the Rays game. I mean, what are you guys, Kevin Durant on his burner phone? I mean, come on. Toughen up. Well, we didn't like the way that he, took his time when he hit the home run. You're winning 6-1. Give me a break. Then hitting guys on a 3-0 pitch. Why? Well, we didn't like the way that, when he hit the home. Oh, come on. Just very, very soft. We're getting very soft. Honestly, they're hurting their feelings. My feelings were hurt.
Well, baseball's at a little bit of a crossroads with that because there's still the old school rules that you can't show anybody up, yet we are trying, and by we, I mean the sport, is trying to embrace individuality, some celebration, some fun during the game.
Well, it's so funny you say that, Mark. Randy Arozarena, who doesn't do a ton of talking after the game, particularly now when he's struggling so mightily. I mean, Randy's been embarrassing so far this year. And this is a big year for Randy, and it's not going well. And he actually said after the game, apparently to the beat people, hey, I want to talk. I want to say something. And that's what he said. He goes, listen, we don't understand this. He said, we get this about, 5 years ago. Okay. But now we're being encouraged to show our personality. You're allowed to strut. You're allowed to do things after homering, just like they're allowed to show emotion after getting us out, which they didn't used to be allowed to do in Mark, your favorite, in the
Unwritten rules, David.
of baseball. Exactly. Yes. And Rosarena's like, come on now. You can't get mad about that. Not now. 5 years ago, yes. You can't get mad about that now. Now, I will say, all right, Siri hit that ball so far, that thing should have a stewardess. Secondly, he did take his time.
Yeah.
I mean, he did.
And
No, I get it. And I could understand where you'd be a little annoyed. But, I mean, come on. And then, all right, you hit him a 3-0 pitch. Okay. Now, I got to admit, the umpire's then throwing the starting pitcher out of the game. I mean, that's absurd. It just is. Okay. Did we all know, okay, that he decided once he fell behind 3-0, well, I might as well hit him, and that'll make me feel better for what he did with the homer? Yeah, sure. But then the Rays can come back. It's a 3-game series. They can hit somebody later in the game. They can hit somebody tomorrow. I mean, come on. Come on. Plus, he hit him in the thigh. I mean, come on.
You talked about, and we've talked about, there are places that you hit a player.
Yes. You hit him, that's the perfect place, actually. It might be the best way to hit a guy. Because, once you get to the ribs, you can break a rib and what have you. I mean, honestly, that's the perfect place to hit a guy. And so he hits him, and everybody knew what was going on. But come on. Then, he strutted. He hit him with a 3-0 fastball on the thigh. We're even. But then the reliever sticking up for the pitcher after the series grounds out. And then, by the way, an embarrassing fight. They're slapping at each other. Slapping. There's no slapping. There's no crying in baseball. There's no slapping in baseball. Come on now. I don't know when's the last time any of us were in a fight. We're adults now. We're really not supposed to be fighting. But next thing you know, you find yourself in a fight and you're slapping?
David, this generation doesn't fight, so I don't think they know how to. Let me ask you a question, Trent. You ever been in a fight?
Nope.
There you go.
That's why I started laughing, because I was like, if I'm
generation doesn't fight.
If I'm the voice of reason for my soft
I
generation.
mean, they may have seen one. They may have watched one on a video game. I don't know, but.
Well, and that's good. I mean, we really shouldn't have a lot of public fighting when you think about it. I mean, it's frowned upon by the authorities, isn't it? Hey, what's going on? Hank.
No, I think everybody should get their ass kicked once. I'm a big believer in that.
I agree with that.
Trust me, I've had my ass kicked. I haven't kicked any ass.
Well, I got to admit, if you've been on the receiving end, that is still being in a fight.
Right. If you've lost a fight, you've been in a fight.
Brothers.
You've been in a fight.
It's not real. It's just,
What, your brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that doesn't count.
We wouldn't know. I think it counts.
Black eye. That should
count. Okay. Unless dad, if dad took you and a brother out to the backyard and say, I am fed up with the both of you, have at it. And when you're done, you're done. Or else I'll finish it. Okay. All right. You're right. Mark and I are only children. We don't understand. Although my mother did drag me by the ear to Kenny Larson's house because she was fed up of me complaining about him.
Did that happen when you were 9?
Don't laugh. I think it did.
1975?
It was right around then. She dragged me to Kenny Larson's house, knocked on the front door, and Mrs. Larson opened it. My mother had never met her before, and she said, "I don't know what's going on at your dinner table, but all my son does is complain about your son, and they need to have it out once and for all." And Mrs. Larson went, "Okay," turned around and yelled up the stairs, "Kenny, get down here. You got to fight David." And we fought it out on the front yard. The two of them talked. They became friends. And then we went back to our respective abodes and went to school the next day.
That is parenting right there.
That's old school. That's old
I'm not being
school.
sarcastic. That's great.
Don't know if you can do that anymore.
No, you can't. Put them both in their safe spaces. Maybe give them a pillow to hug for 30 minutes and cry it out.
By the way, there was no slapping. Okay. Even during the Carter administration there, maybe it was the Ford, but there was no slapping. Couldn't rip a hole in the pants though. I only had 2 pair. One blue, one brown. I had to make it through the school year with those 2 pairs. So, we couldn't scuff the knees or anything. So, but Kilo's dad in our Twitch chat room saying we need to remember this conversation tonight because Soto hit one that's still in orbit last night. Yes, that was oof. Whoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he
strutted.
watched it.
Yes, he did.
And he should have.
I was going to say.
He didn't just watch it. He admired it.
Yeah.
We all did.
I was going to say, you hit one that far, even the pitcher goes, damn. That's impressive right there. So,
and they were having a back and forth. Soto had his little shuffle on an inside pitch, and
they
were staring at each other. And he said it. He asked after, he goes, "We were going at one another."
Yeah, we're battling. And we're 2 good teams. We're playing for first place. That's a good pitcher. I'm a good hitter. Let's go. So I just thought very sensitive in Milwaukee last night. That's all. I just felt very sensitive. How about the end of that Sixers-Knicks game, huh? How about that? You remember, what was it, like a whole, week ago? Remember when it was, man, how did the Knicks pull that win out in the final 30 seconds? The Sixers last night said, we can do you 1 point better. You guys are just down 5 with under 30 seconds to go, although you did win in regulation. That was impressive. Okay, we're down 6 with less than 30 seconds to go in regulation, and we'll win. We will. We'll need overtime, but we can do it. Stave off elimination. Did you see that tying 3 from Maxey? That was so far out, Caitlin Clark went, hey, that's impressive. Curry went, damn, that's a 3. That's a logo 3.
That was what they would say is deep, David.
Deep. Yeah. That's fun.
And the only thing that unfortunately did is it prevented any chance of Orlando getting on ESPN or TNT.
That's true. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh, my goodness. Those poor guys continue to be buried on NBA TV.
And a great game last night. Terrific game. Orlando lost, but what a hell of a game that was.
I don't know if either team had a double-digit lead. Cleveland did early, but then in the first quarter. But then after that, I don't think either team had a double-digit lead. I think Orlando's biggest lead of the night was 3. And most of the second half, I think Cleveland's biggest lead was like 6.
And Orlando, a team that prides itself on defense, couldn't get a lot of stops. Both teams were scoring. Orlando, who doesn't shoot particularly well, shot really well.
Yeah, the hoop was fun last night.
It really was.
History in Milwaukee. No team had ever won a playoff game with their top 2 scorers not in the game. Ever.
Chris Middleton stepping up.
Yeah. Bobby Portis stepping up. I loved Bobby Portis. Loved him in college. He's just one of those guys. He's the fourth best player on your team, but there's just something about him. You go, man, I like that guy.
You go to
I wish all my
Arkansas?
yeah, I wish all my guys played like him. Plays tough, plays hard. So good sports night.
It really was.
Yeah. Some NFL news. We'll play guess the attendance at a couple places. The Marlins had a dramatic win, but if no one was there to see it, did it really happen? Could be our question of the day. We've got a good show lined up also. Miller and Moulton, stick around.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So Jack Ebling, who we had on the show for Greg Campy, the Lansing host, so I was a guest on his show yesterday, and his producer, before we went on the air, he goes, hey, he's been listening to the show, and he goes, tell Mark and David to avoid sharp objects during tonight's Leafs Bruins game. He's a Boston fan, so he clearly thought they were going to blow him out.
Oh, I'm not rooting for the Leafs. I love watching that. This is a series where I was texting with my kid. It's like, I don't know what I want more, the Leafs to lose or Boston to lose, because I hate
creates drama.
Well, I hate all Boston franchises.
Yes.
But watching Toronto lose is hysterical.
See, I got a soft spot for that line of thinking.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I do, just because of, my teams have been. Oh. Except the Wings, of course. But even the Wings, they haven't made the playoffs since the Obama administration. Tigers came through for us.
Yes, they did.
You seen this Wenzel Perez kid? I don't know where he came from. They just called him up recently. I watched him in spring down here. He didn't make the roster initially. 2 home runs last night, and he's hitting like 290. as a rookie, I think. He might not be a rookie. I got to look that up.
I got college football win totals, David.
Really? Really?
Well, I saw a tweet here, and I'm like, or a post rather, that said, Vegas sets FSU's win total at 9.5. Excuse me, slight favorite to win ACC. I'm like, huh. Nothing on the Hard Rock app, but VegasInsider.com did put something up. All right, Michigan 9.5. Don't you have to jump the under?
Yes.
Jump the under. Brutal schedule.
Canes 9.5.
Ooh.
I will say that, I mean, he is crushing it in recruiting in the portal.
Sparty 5.5.
Over. 6. 6 is the number. Bowl eligible. Let's go.
Feeney, I don't envy you. Catching rats at 6:20 in the morning.
Ooh. Ooh. All right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Steve Carney next hour. We'll talk a little Rays. We'll have some fun with what happened last night in Milwaukee. Also, Trent was all fired up yesterday for the Rays City Connect uniforms and hats and all that stuff. There are people that think that they've got the best of that style in the industry right now.
They're fire.
They're lit.
They're really neat.
So Steve Carney will join us coming up next hour to talk about that. Seth Everett, who joins us every Wednesday in our 8 o'clock Eastern hour, he will join us. And Bud Elliott will join us to talk about the future of college football, also what's going on in the portal. He covers that thing every day. So
You may even have a draft comment or two.
Right. So, we'll talk to Bud about that a couple hours from now here on Miller and Moulton. So there you go. Good show lined up for a hump day. And we are officially a third of the way through the year, Mark. Today is day 122. Leap year. We got 366 this year. So there you go. We're at the third poll. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. How's the year going for you?
That's going all right.
Is that a sideways or an
sideways
up?
To up?
Is that because you had a good final 9 yesterday? It was sideways, but since you shot a good last 9 holes yesterday, had a good round yesterday, the thumb leans upward?
Everything could always be a little bit better, but things are pretty good. You know, I mean, everything at home is great. Wife's doing well. I'd like a few more sponsors for this show and a little more stability for Miller and Moulton. But other than that, I'm thumbs up. That's all.
Okay.
If you want me to break it down, I will.
I'm just asking. That's all. Your comment was it could be sideways. It could be, leaning upward. I just wanted to know.
It's leaning upward.
Okay. Just saying, May 1st. I mean, this is also right around the time, what do they say? We're just about done working for everybody else, right? What's it like mid-May in terms of all our taxes that we pay between state, local, state, federal, what have you. There's like some day in May in which it's like, okay, now you're working for yourself.
But this is a gauntlet of payment. See, I'm looking ahead right now. I've got the daughter's birthday, followed by Mother's Day, followed by my mother's 80th birthday, followed by my wife's 50th birthday. I've got a gauntlet of things that I've got to be on point for here in the next 50 plus days.
Wow. And you're part of Miller and Moulton, and you're not making any money. So that seems, I can see why the thumb is, very sideways. Even though things are going pretty well, I can see why it's sideways, because you're like, man, I got a lot of expenses coming up. That is for sure. You got to love, and we remind ourselves, Mark, all the time on this show, these guys are professionals, man. They just very rarely do professional teams roll over. They do. Even if they're a bad team, even if they don't like their coach, even if they know there's going to be wholesale changes. I mean, how many football teams quit? Even the ones that end up with the top picks in the draft. Did the Patriots quit on Belichick last year?
No way.
No, they just sucked. Did Arizona quit on their coach last year? Hell no. They seemingly played as hard as any team in the league. They were just lousy. Very rarely does a team, even the Chicago Blackhawks, worst record in the NHL this year. Did the Blackhawks quit down the stretch? No. They actually beat some playoff teams in the last couple of weeks of the season. Very rarely do professionals quit, roll over, give a effort. And when professional teams are facing elimination, I mean, even New Orleans, OKC swept them. They didn't quit in game 4. OKC had to beat them, had to come from behind in the 4th. And Mark, we had teams last night on the hardwood and on the ice who were facing elimination, and they played their off.
There's no doubt. Look at all the game 6s that were forced from last night and the effort that was given.
I mean, Milwaukee, without their 2 best players, completely undermanned against a solid Pacers team, they whacked them. We're not going home tonight. At least if you're going to take us out, you're going to take us out in Indiana. And by the way, our stars might be ready for game 6, just so you know. We might have some reinforcements coming down the tunnel.
Same thing can be said with Philadelphia.
Yes. I mean, miracle final 30 seconds. Great for them. But they played hard all night. Even though their 2 best players both missed shoot around with varying illnesses and ailments. Whatever, man. We'll be there come game time. Hostile environment. Who cares? We're not ready to go home tonight. No way. I put 7-8 months of work into this. I'm ready to pack it in. I mean, Nashville, Toronto, both going on the road. Now, the funny thing is Nashville, nobody cares about this series. This is the NBA TV equivalent in hockey. Okay, the Nashville-Vancouver series. But Nashville actually has controlled most of the play, and they were down 3-1 in the series. But trailing in the 3rd period last night, they said, we're not ready to put the pucks away. And Toronto, without their best player, on the road.
What the hell?
Yeah. See,
I mean,
now
you and I grew up watching the Jordan flu, or were adults when Jordan played the flu game. We've seen some of these things, and when a player's missing a game because he's sick,
there's a part of me. Don't you now have to be worried it's something either far more serious, that the sickness is not the flu, that it's something like, is it COVID? Is it something really bad that, oh my God, we're going to find out he's going to need medical attention throughout the summer? Or have they done him a disservice? He has an injury and they're hiding it by saying he has an illness, and now they're doing him a disservice because in the hockey world, he looks awful.
Yeah. If that's the case, they are, David. And we're talking about Austin Matthews missing the game for Toronto, for those that are wondering.
I mean, pulled from the game after 2 periods in game 4, so he doesn't play the 3rd period at home when they needed a comeback, and then doesn't play in game 5 facing elimination. The only game they had won in the series was the game that he had dominated, was the best player on the ice. But they get the W, and they earned it. They earned it. I thought they were the better team for most of the night. And Boston's goal was fluky. So I thought the hockey gods gave one to the Leafs last night. They said, you know what? I thought you're in this one more than them. Here you go. All right, good.
And another closeout game for the Bees that they can't put the team away.
In overtime, too. It's how it started last year, up 3-1
Right.
on Florida. Had chances late in regulation. Remember Marchand with the breakaway at the end of game 5 in regulation. Bob stones them. They go to overtime. Florida stays alive. And then we all know what happened. Florida came back, won the series. And so now here you go. Boston was buzzing at the end of regulation. Couldn't get the game winner. Buzzing the first few minutes of overtime. And Toronto gets the game winner. Here we go. But we need to remember that. These are professionals. Pros don't quit. Teams don't quit. The starting 5 is next.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA-certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Yeah, that was Mac yesterday, DC, that had his whatever card there that he was going to sell. He's a Canadian.
Right. And we were urging him, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'll tell you, I've been sleeping really well, but I've been having some horrible dreams. You know how you wake up and you're just like, that wasn't good. Like last night I had a dream I got in a car accident. I was like, okay, great.
Wow.
Got to start watching some more positive stuff before I go to bed.
The Brewers manager accused the umpire of calling him a POS. I just read his lips. He goes, "You call me a piece of blank?
Oh.
And you're throwing me out?"
Isn't it kind of like, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't care what causes the brawl as long as there is a brawl.
Baseball brawls are stupid.
Oh, boy.
Slap. Throwing punches like girls.
He completely missed, too. Like,
then he goes to hit him with his glove.
Yeah. Second line of defense, the glove. Second line of attack, I should say. Mark, did you do baseball cards too? Or was that just David? Did everyone kind of do them back then?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in the well, in my case, it was the 70s.
Yeah, me too.
Trent, it was late 70s, and I spent a month searching for a Larry Boa card. I was a Boa away from the complete collection. I was taking all my lunch money and buying baseball cards.
So you were to the point where you'd buy a pack and just...
I was literally, I'd sent the word out. I'll give you 100 cards for a Boa. I need a Boa. And unlike, all I just had them in shoe boxes underneath the bed. I just, cards got thrown out at some point.
It's probably in 1975.
A little later. Not much, though. Not much, because I was still in elementary school.
You remember the 76 cards, the small ones? The year they did the small set?
Uh-huh.
Those are worth buku bucks if you had a whole set of those.
Actually, you know what, Trent? It might have been 75.
There was one card then. It was a Topps. That was it. There wasn't 65 baseball cards out there. There was one.
No, there was one.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. An hour away from talking to Steve Carney. 2 hours away from talking to Bud Elliott. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Any thoughts about a poll question, gentlemen? Anything at all?
What was the best finish last night?
Okay.
There were several.
It's a little narrow. I mean, is today anything? Is like today National Processed Cheese Day? Something that, people really care about, as opposed to great finishes to playoff games. We know that, about 15 members of our audience care about that stuff.
Isn't it May Day? I don't know what May Day is, but isn't May 1st May Day?
It is.
Okay.
Do we have any inside track information on what exactly that entails?
It's funny. I always thought May Day was like, when the ship was going down, you yelled May Day. But okay.
International Workers' Day, also known as Labor Day in some countries, is often referred to as May Day, a celebration of laborers and the working classes that is promoted by the International Labor Movement. It occurs every year on May 1.
So if you're at work today in the middle of your shift, you should just start yelling May Day, May Day.
I would like our audience to do that.
So let me get this straight. If you're in line at the store, should the person behind the register be yelling Mayday, or should the people in line be yelling Mayday?
The workers should be yelling Mayday, not the customers.
Boy, that'd be great. Okay, don't yell it in front of like the 20 and 30-year-old guy and what have you. Wait till you get like the 74-year-old woman and all of a sudden just start yelling, Mayday! Mayday!
That's great. She's diving under the counter. What I would like for our listeners to do, because there's a chance today there could be, if you're in a meeting, because Miller and Moulton hate meetings.
Awful.
So if you're in a meeting, stand up and fire out a few Maydays. Mayday! Mayday!
When they look at you funny.
Run out of the room.
Right. Hey, today's International Workers' Day, okay? I'm proud to be working. I'm proud of myself. I like this job. So, yeah, May Day. That should be, with the alliteration of Miller and Moulton, we should be big on May Day. That whole M thing. So, Miller and Moulton, May Day.
I will say May is American Cheese Month, David. The whole month is given up to American cheese.
Ooh, how about that's our poll question that asks people their favorite cheese? No?
That's coming from you, who you only eat cheddar.
An American.
An
He doesn't even really like cheddar.
Cheddar's okay.
He prefers
It's just American.
Craft American. That's
American.
his cheese of choice.
Well, it doesn't have to be individually wrapped. I mean, I'm fine with it, from a deli counter. But yeah, I like my cheese like I like my countries, American. I don't have a problem with other countries. I have a favorite. That's all. I mean, I'll eat Swiss. I'll eat provolone. Not crazy about it. I won't buy it. It's just like there are some countries I won't pay to go to. It's the same way with cheese. No? Yeah. All right. 18 before the hour. Time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
we try for number 1 to be the NFL, so that this way you'll keep paying attention. And maybe when we get to the other stuff, some of it'll just sap in. The Jags with a couple noteworthy cuts yesterday. They cut wide receiver Zay Jones. This is interesting. I mean, he's probably number 4 on the depth chart now, a wide receiver. But if they were to get an injury to their top 3, all of a sudden that wide receiving core could look a little thin. They save, however, $4.5 million by doing so against the cap. They also got rid of their kicker, Joey Sly, in large part, Mark, because what did the Jags do in the draft? They got LSU wideout Brian Thomas Jr. in the first round, and then they got kicker Cam Little from Arkansas in the 6th round. By the way, bunch of teams, because the deadline, I think, is tomorrow, Friday at the latest, in which they got to pick up 5th-year options on guys from the 2021 draft class. So if you notice, all the quarterbacks who were taken, 2, 3, 11, and 15 there, their teams like Denver and Jacksonville officially yesterday said, we're not picking up the 5th-year option on Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. The Steelers had already said that about Justin Fields, and the Cowboys didn't have to, I don't think procedurally, since he got traded or what have you. So, just some bookkeeping going on with a lot of members of the 2021 draft class with their 5th-year options not being picked up. NHL. Toronto staves off elimination without Austin Matthews. Game winner in overtime. 2-1 Leafs. They still trail 3-2. They head home. Do you know the Leafs have lost 6 straight home playoff games? This goes back to the first round last year where they beat Tampa, but remember where they did it. They did it in Tampa in Game 6 after Tampa went up to Toronto and won Game 5. So they lost the last game of that series. When they lost to the Panthers in 5, they lost all 3 games in Toronto. And they lost the 2 at home against Boston. They've lost 6 straight home playoff games in literally a year's time. That's tough to do.
It is. So we're betting the house on the Leafs then? That they end this streak?
I don't know. I'm not very confident. Betting on the Leafs?
I'm being completely facetious.
Thank you. A little worried there. Carolina doubled up the Islanders 6-3. It was tied at 3 after 2. Carolina scored 2 goals 8 seconds apart in the third period. They had 2 goals 9 seconds apart in Game 2 in this series. Carolina won the series in 5. Colorado took care of Winnipeg in 5 games as well. 6-3 the final of Game 5. Mikko Rantanen with 2 goals in the third. Nashville stayed alive in Vancouver, scoring 2 in the third to beat the Canucks 2-1.
We lost you for a minute. We had a little hitch in our giddy up. We're back.
It's on your end, unfortunately.
I know.
Do I need to do that again? Carolina eliminated the Islanders 6-3. Colorado eliminated Winnipeg 6-3. Nashville stayed alive. They beat Vancouver 2-1.
There you go.
There's 2 playoff games tonight. Vegas and Dallas tied at 2. No home team has won a game in that series, and Game 5's in Dallas. And Edmonton tries to put away the Kings up 3-1, and they'll be at home. NBA, Sixers stayed alive. Amazing final 30 seconds of that game. Knicks are up 6. Tyrese Maxey hits a fading, leaning three-pointer while being fouled. Hits the free throw, 2-point game. Josh Hart for the Knicks only hits 1 of 2 free throws. 3-point game, under 10 seconds to go. Tyrese Maxey pulls up from, they said it's 34 feet. It was at least 34 feet. And drilled it with 8 seconds to go. Sixers won in overtime, 112-106 to stay alive. Maxey with 46. Game 6 in Philly. Cleveland held off Orlando 104-103. Orlando hit a 3 at the buzzer to make the final score a touch closer, but this was a close game throughout. Magic actually had the lead with 3 minutes to go. Paolo Banchero with 39 in the loss. Home teams have won all 5 games in this series, Game 6 in Orlando. And Milwaukee stays alive without Giannis and without Dame. Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, East had 29. Bucks by 23 over the Pacers, who look to advance in the playoffs at home in Game 6. Boston can put away Miami tonight, and the Mavs and the Clippers play in L.A. with the series tied at 2. All right, a lot going on in baseball, Mark. Pay attention. First off, Marlins down 5-0 in the 9th. Tie it, then score 2 in the 10th to win it, snapping a 7-game losing skid, 7-6 over the Rockies.
They're back, baby. Oh.
Listen, that much needed 7th win of the year. Okay, guess the attendance Tuesday night in Miami. Remember, Monday night, they did 63-76. That's the over-under. Over or under 63-76.
God, I've been awful lately. I'm going to go over.
Barely, but it was 67-06. So that's right. The Marlins have drawn 13,000 for the first 2 games of their series against the Rockies. A brawl in the 8th inning of the Brewers-Rays game. Milwaukee won at 8-2. Cardinals and Tigers split a doubleheader. We won our bet. After St. Louis scored 2 in the 9th to win game 1, 2-1, we bet on the Tigers in game 2, and they won 11-6. Orioles now lead the AL East. They beat the Yankees again 4-2. Soto did hit another homer. That ball is still in orbit. The Phils with 3 in the 9th beat the Angels 7-5. Angels, by the way, before the game, Mike Trout. This is really weird. Trout, the game before, late in the game, got a hit, stole a base, scored a run. He felt fine. After the game, his knee was sore. Oh, okay. He wakes up in his hotel room yesterday morning. He can't get out of bed. Turns out he's got a torn meniscus in his left knee. He's going to need surgery. He's probably going to miss 2 months. But the Phils win and the Braves lose to Seattle 3-2. And so the Braves lead in the East is down to a half a game. Mariners in first in the West. All right, Mark. In New York, the Mets beat the Cubs 4-2, but it was dollar dog night. 22,800 in attendance. How many hot dogs do you think were sold on dollar dog night?
22,000 in attendance?
22.8, yeah.
I think they sold 8,000 hot dogs.
44,269
Holy dog!
So on average, that's more than 2 a person.
It's basically 2 a person.
Holy.
Dollar dog night. Are you kidding? See, that's one of those deals. Even if you ate on the way to the game, you get to the game, you find out it's dollar dog night. You go, well, I got to make some room for that.
I'd do 8 for sure.
Oh, well, if I knew about it, we wouldn't have had any food before. We would have just, oh my goodness. I might have watched the game for I might have watched the game in line at the concourse.
You guys help the average there because there's people like me that will eat 0 or 1.
Right.
You guys will have.
Totally. I would have had 8.
No doubt. At least 1 an inning? Are you serious?
Well, first off, we're there a half hour before. I've got 2-3 dogs done before the first pitch.
Yeah, I've got 4 done by the first pitch. No doubt about it. I probably would have done a dozen. 4 by the first pitch and then 1 per inning on average.
We interviewed a couple of prospective hot dog eating contest participants in another life and another act with someone from Nathan's. And the 2 of them were going to do a little hot dog eating. So I convinced Moulton to take these 2 amateur hot dog eaters on. And I crushed them.
And it bothered me because I had just had lunch. Literally sitting at the desk, I had 2 double cheeseburgers and fries. And Mark goes, come on, you got to take part in this hot dog eating contest. I go, come on, I just had lunch. So I went out back. I had
2 minutes as opposed to the 10 normally in the contest. Right. In 2 minutes, David knocked down, I think, 14 hot dogs.
Oh my God. I
Oh, don't worry. I've got the video.
I need to see it.
I
haven't seen it yet. Go ahead. Sorry.
Kansas City beat Toronto 4-1. Boston 4-0 over the Giants. Twins have won 9 in a row. They beat the White Sox 6-5. Texas snaps Washington's 4-game winning streak 7-1. Houston rallied, beat Cleveland 10-9-10. Padres over the Reds 6-4. Did you hear about the Dodgers Diamondbacks game? They had a bee colony forming behind home plate at the top of the net there, right behind home plate where the big screen and the little screen connect. Okay, the game was delayed 2 hours. They called this beekeeper who was at his son's T-ball game 45 minutes away. He comes flying to the game. All right, they literally brought him in on a cart from the bullpen. He's getting a standing ovation. They played Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero while he was checking the bees out of the nest. Diamondbacks win 4-3-10.
And he threw out the first pitch.
He did. They said, right. He was the hero that let him throw out the first pitch. A's have won 5 of 6. They beat the Pirates 5-2. Okay, guess the attendance. Monday night in Oakland, what do we have? We had 35-28. That's the over-under.
Under.
Over 38-76.
Oh.
And that'll do it. And that
was the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
The hero beekeeper. That, how hysterical is that? Bonnie Tyler's holding out for a hero while he's getting rid of the bees. That's a sense of humor. Game was delayed 2 hours.
For bees.
For bees. Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me.
I will say, if we can get Boston to beat Toronto, the rest of the hockey playoffs in the East, the Western Conference basketball playoffs are going to be amazing for the next month. No matter who wins the Dallas Clippers series, they'll get OKC. That'll be a good series. And yeah, Denver, Minnesota should be fun. You know, the Carolina Hurricanes are still the betting favorite to win the Cup.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to tell you this, Mark. I saw you walking yesterday.
Ah.
And here's the funny thing. So it was coming over the bridge, and I saw a guy wearing a Michigan State shirt, and I rolled down the window and I shouted, "Go Green!" And it was as I was passing, I was like, "Oh, that's Mark."
Headsets
in. Well, yeah, I had the music going too, so you never would have heard me. But it was instinct. I was just like, "Go Green!"
Go white.
I was like, "That's Mark." It's kind of funny.
Yep. Climbed Mount Estero yesterday.
The bridge?
Yeah.
Sonny, I can't. I got stuff I'm committed to tonight.
Did you you didn't go to the game last night, I take it?
I did actually for 2 periods.
Oh, okay.
Actually 2.5. But Blades look great. Yeah, I think home court's big in that Minnesota-Denver series, though. Because Denver will win 1 of the 3 in Minnesota, so that means the T-Wolves have to win 2 in Denver. And
Minnesota has the height to try to stop Jokic. We'll see. Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton. Steve Carney will join us just past the bottom of the hour. We're going to, catch up on the Rays and Marlins the rest of the week. They're both below 500 heading into May, based on what the Rays have done for basically the last 15 years. And also what the Marlins did last year. Very disappointing first 5 weeks of the season. We'll catch up on the Rays today. We'll catch up on the Marlins before the week is done. We're also, Kurt Becker will join us near the end of the week. 150th Kentucky Derby. We had vowed to go to this one a couple of years ago,
Based on the conversations we had more recently in the show about the two of us and economically how well this show is doing, pretty much give the reasons why we're not going to the Derby this year.
Right. I mean, 2.5 years ago, it was, we were going to get a motor home and we were going on the road and the thing's going to be sponsored and we're going to travel the Southeast and be live. And we're going to the 150th Derby, right? Absolutely. Made plans before the 148th Derby to go. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they're having the race Saturday. We'll talk about it with Kurt Becker before the week is up.
And I'm usually up to date on my Derby prep races. This year I was terrible. I do know that both favorites are in lousy post positions.
What, one's like near the rail and the other's near the end?
Yeah. So
that's not ideal. So, all right. You break out any of your Derby bourbon for the race, or is that just for decoration?
Just decoration.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, one of those. All right, good. Hey, you stumbled upon something, though, before the show. And for those in Jacksonville and Huntsville, and you're just getting used to Miller and Moulton, thank you. And stick with us. It'll get better. So we're into a few things. You'll find that out. One of them is we love over-unders, especially win total over-unders. And when they come out, we get very excited, particularly in football. And apparently yesterday an over-under came out in
Saw a
college
post
football
about Florida State's over-under, so I went looking. Now, the Hard Rock app doesn't have them yet.
Okay.
But a couple of the sites do have them, and Vegas Insider has a post with all of the win totals on there.
Uh-huh.
There are 5 teams with win totals at 10.5.
10.5. Now, conference championship games don't count, correct? This is just regular season.
Regular season. The 5 teams with win totals at 10.5 are Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
That's lofty expectations there.
It really is. Now, to
Now,
me,
they're gonna
Oregon
be-
and Ohio State are no real surprises. They're going to be the class of the Big Ten this year. Georgia is who they are. Texas at 10.5 first year in the SEC is a lofty number as well.
Well, there's a couple of things, and this is where I get myself in trouble, Mark, playing the schedule game. But Ohio State and Oregon play each other in the regular season in Eugene. So, obviously one of them is going to lose, and in theory, they can't lose another one. Now, let's just say Ohio State loses on the road. They're going to be favored in every other game they play.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could still bet the over, even if you think they're going to have a tough time in Eugene. Now, if you think Ohio State's going to beat Oregon, don't you bet the under on Oregon?
I was gonna say it feels like you're almost picking one or the other for that number because they're in the same conference now.
Couple of things. Let's get to the Florida schools here. Miami and Florida State are both at 9.5.
Well, this is can you think Mario can coach? Because he's crushing it recruiting, and they are destroying people in the portal. I mean, he has landed 10 4 or 5-star players in the portal this offseason. And one of them's a quarterback.
Care to guess what the Gators over-under is?
Well, wasn't it 5.5 last year?
Yes.
I'm going to guess it's the same.
It's exactly the same, David. Great guess. The Gators are at 5.5.
They had the toughest schedule, some people think, in the history of schedules. Although I'll put Bobby Bowden's schedule from the mid-'80s there when he played, the death row, 5 games in a row, all on the road, all ranked up against anybody. But they were an independent then, and they had to put together the schedule they had to put together. But, I mean, Florida's got 11 Power 5 games on their schedule next year. They literally play UCF, Miami, and Florida State in state, and then they play an SEC schedule.
Right. They finish, just not to bore you with their whole schedule, but preseason rankings are what they are. They finish after a bye week before the Georgia game with preseason number 1 Georgia. They follow that up with at number 4 Texas. They host number 12 LSU. Then they host Ole Miss, number 6 preseason, and finish at number 15 Florida State.
Right. So the last 5 opponents are all preseason top 15.
Right.
Well, that was last year. Remember, they were, I think, 5-2 going into the Georgia game. And we said that, hey, they got to get one of their final whatever to go to a bowl. And sure enough, they had Arkansas beat at home and blew it. They had Missouri beat on the road and blew it. And ended up with a losing season.
For the record, other preseason top 25 teams on the Gators schedule: number 24 Miami, number 25 A&M, at number 16 Tennessee, and home for number 23 Kentucky. Brutal.
Brutal. Yes. I mean, Michigan's schedule is hard. By the way, what's Michigan's over under? Because if it's
It's 8.5, isn't it?
No, I thought it was a little higher than that, which just stunned me. Michigan's at 9.5.
Yeah, you got to go under on Michigan. You do. Take a look at their schedule. First off, week 2, they host Texas, which also keep that in mind with Texas's over-under. Texas joining the SEC, and one of their non-conference games is at Michigan. Now,
So,
I
David,
think Texas.
let me ask you this real quick. How low would the over-under have to be for you to take the over on Michigan?
7.5. I think there's a real possibility Michigan can lose 5 games this year. So I would, at 7.5, I might just say, you know what? Okay, they could go 8-4, but anything, 9.5. It might be my best bet of the year. The under on Michigan.
By ranked teams, Florida has a much more difficult schedule than the Wolverines do. Michigan opens with Fresno State. Then they play Texas at home. Then Arkansas State. USC.
At home, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Minnesota. At Washington.
Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. Think of the Minnesota game, and you're going to laugh, but look at what it's squeezed in between. It's squeezed in between USC and at Washington. That's a bad spot for Michigan. Okay, and that's the game, okay, or the second biggest game on Minnesota's schedule for the year. I'm telling you, that's a bad spot for Michigan.
At Illinois. Home for Sparty. Home for Oregon. At Indiana. Home for Northwestern. At Ohio State.
So think about it. Now, they get a lot of guys at home. They get Texas, USC, Oregon all at home, correct?
Yes.
And at Ohio State.
That is right.
Yeah, they ain't winning 10 games.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, they're losing to Ohio State. So that's 1, which means they can only afford one other loss on the schedule. At Washington is not going to be easy at all. That'll be damn near a pick'em game. And then they got to beat Texas and USC when they both come to town. And remember, USC comes to town early in the year. What do we know about USC? They get worse as the season goes on. Michigan gets them early. You want to play USC in November when Notre Dame plays them this year on the road. Remember, new playoff. I mean, that game could be monstrous, by the way, Notre Dame at USC. Notre Dame playing, they can't get a top 4 seed, but Notre Dame maybe to secure their spot in the playoff. But also, is that for USC with a win? Could they get themselves in the playoff? I mean, the November schedule this year, this new expanded playoff could bring a lot more meaning to a lot more games.
That's what we're hoping for, because it was quite a while ago when we took on ESPN and the college football world that said every game mattered and kind of explained to people that they didn't.
No.
A handful of games matter.
Right. By mid-October, very few games mattered the rest of the year. Correct.
We don't think that will be the case with a 12-team playoff.
Because you have to figure, I'm sorry, I'm figuring on 4 teams from the SEC and 4 teams from the Big Ten until proven otherwise. And then you got the ACC champ, the Big 12 champ, and then the Group of 5 champ. That's 3. So now we're at 11. Notre Dame would fill it out and make 12. So then think about it. A second-place team in the ACC or Big 12 would have to be deemed more worthy than the number 4 team from the SEC or the Big 10. And now maybe you get lucky the one year Notre Dame's not good enough to make the playoff. Then that leaves an extra spot maybe for a second ACC team. How about this, by the way? When do you think the Big 12 gets 2 teams? Take a look who's in the Big 12. Like, I can see the ACC getting multiple bids. While Florida State and Clemson are still in the conference, Mark, I can see that league getting at least 2 bids. Tell me when you think the Big 12 is going to get 2 bids.
When the ACC crumbles and they get more teams put in their conference.
Okay.
And I'm not being flippant. I'm being dead serious, David.
I asked you.
Dead serious.
Okay.
I don't see how that conference is going to get 2 teams with its current makeup, with the power that's in the Big Ten, the power that's in the SEC, Notre Dame out there, and as you mentioned, Clemson and Florida State from the ACC. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation.
Well,
At
no,
the law
I'm hearing
firm of
echo.
Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation.
No, I'm hearing echo.
Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured. And a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Irish football, I think you heard us wrong. We said, when's the next time the Big 12 will get 2 teams in the playoff?
Right, because the Big Ten could realistically have
right. The Big
4.
Ten should get at least 3, if not 4. Hey, Mark, if you could humor me.
Yeah.
Look up a couple of over-unders for me.
Gotcha.
Colorado.
5.5.
UCF.
7.5.
Okay.
I like Florida, by the way. You're basically, I mean, you're wagering whether or not they get bowl eligible. And I think they do.
They need to get off. They need to beat Miami week 1. They really do.
Do you think they will?
He needs that game. They're home, but he needs that game more than Mario does.
That game is going to be huge.
For Billy, it is. He's got to get to 6. May need to get to 7.
Well, it's big for Mario too, isn't it? Because I mean,
they ain't getting rid of Mario. Financially, they can't afford to get rid of Mario. Plus, Mario is acquiring talent. See, that's the other thing about Billy. Billy's acquiring a little bit of talent, but he's not
at the level that they're getting it in Tallahassee or in Coral Gables.
Right. I mean, if you're a Florida fan, you're like, why can't we be doing in the portal what Mario is? And the answer is money, but it's also a little bit of staff.
Goldfish crisps are being advertised, light and crisp. I don't know. I like the regular goldfish. I don't know if I'd really want to make the switch.
No, I don't get the extra crispy Cheez-Its either. I'm good with the normal. I think it takes some of the taste out.
I agree.
With the Cheez-Its, I like either. I prefer the original. I'm with you, but I do like the extra crispy ones, though.
No, Irish. A&M's got a lot more money than Miami. That's why they could get rid of Jimbo. The buyout was huge, but A&M has the money. Miami doesn't have the money that A&M has.
There aren't many places that have the money that A&M has.
But SMU's one of them.
Yeah, SMU's fine. Hey, you guys aren't going to get any TV money for the next 6 years. We're good.
I'll just have these guys finance our program.
By the way, we'll call Andy Enfield and tell him how much you want. Oh, fine, no problem. What do you say? Leave USC, come to us. Oh, we're good.
I did not know this. The Hudson Motor Car Company merged with the Nash Kevenator Corporation to form American Motor Corporation. So AMC is the Hudson. I did not know that. Larry King premiered today in 1957 on WAHR in Miami Beach, David. Hello.
His overnight show was so strange. The guest list was amazing. He'd do 2 segments with Sinatra, come back, have a guy talk about aliens.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Steve Carney will join us in a little more than 15 minutes' time. We'll check in 5 weeks into the baseball season. Little Rays, little Marlins before the week is out. Seth Everett will join us at the top of the hour. Lots of topics to talk with Seth about. And Bud Elliott joins us in a little more than an hour. A lot going on in the college sports world. You may think that there's not. There is a ton going on. Also, I think today is the deadline for the portal. Like in basketball and football, I think
yes.
You have to decide, I think, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight whether you're going portaling or not.
So there have been a couple players in particular, like Illinois, Coleman Hawkins. He was under some heat yesterday because he had declared for the draft weeks ago, after Illinois season ended. And then he came back yesterday and put his name in the transfer portal. And everyone's like, well, what the heck? You're leaving us. You go into the draft, that's fine, but now you're going to enter the transfer portal. He's just saying, I'm just doing it to basically cover my butt.
Yeah, hey.
In case you want a grad transfer now, you have to declare by May 1st.
Right, and you have to declare. You don't have to sign. You don't have to commit by 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight, but you have to, raise your hand, fill out the paperwork, and say, yeah, I'm portaling, which is basically saying, I'd like a little more money where I'm at.
I'm a free agent. Pay me.
Right.
It is free agency, but it is leverage for the players, which is nice to see for once.
It's remarkable what's happened in the last 3 years. 3 years. 3 years what's happened.
It's remarkable the hatred that people have towards the portal.
Oh, man.
Once again, damned if someone makes any more money. Don't screw the team I root for.
Right.
We can circle back and ask Seth about this because we know he hates the portal.
He hates the portal, yet, and this is the conundrum that college fan really has. first off, Mark, we think now, finally, first time ever, you and I have been polling this topic for the 18 years we've done a show together, whether or not the fan thinks the players should be compensated. And for most of our existence, the answer was somewhere between no and hell no. In the last couple of years, I feel as if we got to about 40%. Yeah, okay, I believe they should be compensated. But still, there was the majority that felt, no, I want to go back to how it used to be. Now I think people are realizing that's not going to happen. They may not be in favor of it, but they're reconciling it. But they don't like the combination of the players being compensated and the portal. That's no. They would want one or the other. And what I'm curious about, Mark, I don't know when you heard the story earlier in the week, and Trent, you as well, because you're a huge college sports fan, the whole trying to resolve this antitrust suit and what it is they're going to put together to go forward. Don't you think they have to start getting multi-year contracts into the equation? Don't you want, if you're a college sports, less kids in the portal?
Yeah.
Because like Nick talked about it, where basically after the Rose Bowl, guys at Alabama were getting whatever they were getting. Legally, remember, whatever they were getting. And a handful of them came up to his desk after the game, and they're like, yeah, coach, next year it's going to be more. Nick hadn't planned for it. And don't you think, Mark, if you're running an athletic department, and it's a gamble, because let's just say you sign me to a 3-year deal. I get hurt. I'm not the player that I was when you signed me. And
there you just got to it, David, because what the schools really want and have always wanted is to have it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
The scholarship that we always assumed, and we largely as sports fans, we just assumed the scholarship was a 4-year thing. No, it was 4 1-year deals.
Right.
And they had the right to cut you at any point that they wanted. They want that same right. They want the same thing.
But I think but if you're the colleges, if I give you the option of, it's year to year, baby, year to year, or no, we'll give you the ability to sign multi-year contracts, and that can go both ways. You can sign Moulton. Okay, he can get hurt, or he's just not as good as we thought. We made a mistake, and now we're stuck paying him for 3 years.
Right. He can become a liability on the cap, which happens in pro sports.
Or we sign Miller, and after 1 year, we go, holy blank, Miller's a lot better than we thought. And Miller's going, man, I can't believe I signed for this. I'd be worth 3 times more. And that school's smiling, going, yeah, we got your butt for 2 more years, dude. Don't know what to tell you.
We're getting a bargain.
If you're the colleges, Mark, year to year, one or the other, year to year, or the ability to sign multi-year contracts. And you're stuck. You have to live with the multi-year contract. You can't get out of it like you can now.
I think the colleges would prefer the year to year.
And I think they'd prefer the multi-year because cost certainty. Because they're going to have to, right now the boosters are paying. They know that pretty soon it's coming directly through the athletic department. And there's going to be a salary cap. Don't kid yourself. There's going to be some kind of, even if it's like baseball, where it's a tiered system, there's going to be something.
Well, in the conferences, I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC would love to put a salary cap in right now. Then they'd have to admit that they're employees.
Which they'll never do.
Well, don't you think that's what they admitted in Dallas last week in negotiations? Yes. I mean, when you're talking about revenue sharing, well, you have to negotiate. That's a negotiation. Well, who are you negotiating with? Employees, right? Who else are you negotiating with? Is
Well,
anybody?
their salary cap would be negotiated. In their perfect world, David, now, come on. In their perfect world, they'd want to negotiate with the other schools of what the salary cap is, establish it, and try to screw the kids as much as possible because that's what they want to do.
Okay, and maybe that's it. Maybe they'll just, say, hey, every school can set their own limit. But, I mean, we all know that there's 20 schools that would never set a limit. What's Ohio State's limit? Infinity.
Michigan's times 2.
Right.
OH.
Right. Texas A&M, a limit? Are you kidding?
SMU's so excited they would never sign for a limit. We can do this legally now? Are you kidding me?
By the way, don't you think SMU is one of those people wanting back pay? Not just the athletes. Don't you think it's SMU going, you guys owe us a little bit for that death penalty?
Time now for our Molly Maid play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us?
Death penalty. Well, not dead yet are the Toronto Maple Leafs. David Moulton was hoping they'd get crushed to force their hand to blow it all up. And instead, they win a slugfest, ugly game in Boston over the Bruins. And here's the game winner in overtime.
Tavares down the right wing, trying to barge to the front of the goal. He does! They score! They score! The Leafs have won the game! Nice jumping it in as Tavares one-handed in front. The Leafs are coming home, and they've won Game 5 by a score of 2-1. Holy mackerel, what a play!
Joe Bowen on the call there for Leafs radio, and they stave off elimination. As he said, they're coming home to Toronto, and it's 3-2 Bruins. We've got a series all of a sudden.
Call Molly Maid today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. Molly Maid, make sure you tell them that Miller and Moulton sent you.
Seth Everett at the top of the hour, Bud Elliott in about an hour, but Steve Carney will join us. Talk a little baseball next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation, and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
It is World Laughter Day. We could do a poll question based on that. We still haven't done a poll question, right?
No. We suck at poll questions. I mean, suck.
Yeah, we're not good.
Oh. Have you seen the clip of when Kiss went on that? I forget what show it was, but it's Ace Frehley when he's just completely hammered and he's laughing his ass off. That's what I just saw that. Apparently, it's World Laughter Day. Okay, here's my question. David, do you do the British accent for Wimbledon, or is it just for the British Open?
It's more for the Open Championship. I let Mark handle Wimbledon since he went.
Okay, gotcha.
He's been there. That's his. He gets to do the tea and
come on, John.
Right,
come on, John McEnroe.
I do the. He does Wimbledon. I do the Open.
That shot by Jalen Brunson last night with 1:14 was awesome.
So
step right into
I've got Rangers Bruins on one TV. I've got the 4-pack on the other. They switch because what game starts? Whatever West Coast game
are late.
The West Coast game starts. They flip off the Knicks Sixers. I don't see the end of it.
Really?
I'm doing stuff. I've got stuff going on, paying attention to hockey. I'm like, what happened? And then it's in overtime.
Yeah.
I watched the overtime, but I missed. What the hell happened? In fact, I had Orlando on probably at that point on the big TV. I was all in.
What do you think of this? This is more of a question for David because I know Mark won't care. But what do you think of Philly trading Embiid this summer, getting as much as they can for him, and just going all in around Maxey? Get Maxey a stretch 4.
Well, they're not going to
running mate.
They're not going to do it unless Embiid forces the issue.
I know, but don't you at least agree that?
Well, listen,
how many times do they have to go through this song and dance of him getting hurt, banged up, not working out?
I understand. Listen, if they lose this first round series to the Knicks, I would do it. I would. And by the way, did you see Embiid's comments last night?
Yeah.
Embiid was asked after the game, how do you feel about being a New York villain? He goes, well, if I have to play the role, I'm fine with it. He goes, what the irony is, I love New York. It's my favorite city. I have a place here.
Yep.
Lived here. He goes, I've lived here in the off season for 5 years. If you don't think Knicks fans are like, man, I don't know if we should boo him anymore. Haven't had a whole lot of good NBA players say they love New York lately. I don't know. Maybe we should ratchet it down a little bit.
Do you know Embiid is the only MVP candidate to never, or the only MVP winner, to never make a conference final? Never made a conference final. That's crazy. Granted, he was a Kawhi Leonard 3 away in 2019.
That wasn't a 3. Wasn't that a 2? Well, that game was tied.
Yeah, I think it was a 2, but it was still, that shot was absurd.
Would have gone overtime. Game 7 on the road. Hey, man, they had Boston beat last year at home. Game 6 at home. They're up 3-2 in the series, and they got a lead with 4 minutes to go.
What little insignificant thing do you wish you were better at? My penmanship is awful. I wish I was a neat writer. I wish I could, you could actually, I didn't have to work so hard to make it legible.
What little thing do I wish I was better at?
Wow. Questions. That's really funny, Kilo's dad.
That's outstanding, Kilo's dad.
I print because the handwriting's even worse.
Kilo's dad, that's so good. It's both the funniest comment of the day and the a-hole comment of the day. That's how great that is.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Seth Everett joins us at the top of the hour. Bud Elliott will join us 1 hour from now. It's a hump day. Let's get over it together. It's also May Day. We're 1/3 of the way through the year. Hope the year has gone well for you and hope it gets even better. Steve Carney is kind enough to join us once again. stpete9.com, stpete9.com. Also, Under the Orange Roof is the Rays podcast. Under the Orange Roof. You can follow Steve on X at Steve Carney, Carney. Steve, it's David and Mark. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Although after what happened last night, I think I need to change my website name to stpete9rounds.com.
Nice. Well done, young man. Well done. That's outstanding. Listen, Steve, we commented earlier. We love a baseball brawl, but you can't slap. You got. If you're going to get suspended 3 to 5 games, don't you have to close your fist?
Yeah, tell Abner Uribe that because that's what got it all started. At least if you are going to slap more than once. That's what Jose Siri. At least he got like 3 or 4 shots in.
Right.
You're going to get suspended for 3 to 5 games. Get at least as many shots in.
This may sound silly, Steve, but that little brawl, is that something the Rays needed? Did they need a kick in the pants? Something to I mean, they're banged up. We know that. The injuries are there, but they need something to spark them, and could perhaps last night be what they needed?
Yeah, I really think that something needs to wake up the bats. Obviously, they've scored 3 runs in the last 2 games. I mean, they won a game 2 nights ago, 1-0, when they didn't even get an RBI. It's the first time they've done that in 3 years. But they need something that says, hey, it's now no longer April. Let's get the show on the road and let's get going into what will hopefully be a better opportunity here in May. The 2 guys that obviously need to wake up at the plate are Yandy Diaz and Randy Arozarena. This team is going to go only as far as those 2 guys, I think, carry them at the plate, especially with all the injuries that they've had to guys like Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe and the like.
All right. Steve, you've always been the mature, rational one of the 3 of us when discussing the Rays. What is your level of concern? Because obviously they haven't started a season like this in a while. The injuries, some of them are not going to get better. Some guys are coming back around the All-Star break. Some guys could come back here in the month of May, but there's a lot of not producing the way they have in the past. What is your level of concern with this team?
It's mixed. I would say for some of the guys, this has been a slower than usual start. Yandy is a guy that I would point to as saying, he's too good not to get going. And when he gets going, they always say you are what the back of your baseball card says you are. And this guy hit 330 last year. And obviously, to get to that mark, he's going to have to go on quite the tear. So I expect to see him turn things around. Randy Arozarena is a different story, though, because the scouting report on him has always been, don't throw him a fastball because it doesn't matter how hard it is. He can see it, he can react to it, and he can hit it. And he has not been doing that this year. And I don't know if that is part of the bulking up that he did. I mean, he got noticeably bigger this year than he was, say, last year or even 2022. And I wonder how much of that is affecting what's gone on at the plate. And that's going to be a much bigger issue than I think like a Yandy Diaz is. I think Randy's issues, are much deeper seated.
Well, if that's the case, Steve, that's a bad sign because they need his bat. I mean, I don't know if it's the most important bat,
no doubt.
But without Arozarena's bat, this team is going to struggle to produce runs, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you expect him to be able to come up with guys on base and produce, and he has not done that in this first month. And that is certainly concerning, and especially the fact that he has not been able to get around on fastballs like he did over the last 2 or 3 years. So, yes, that is probably the most concerning thing about this lineup. Now, there are other things that are certainly more encouraging. You certainly expect to see Junior Caminero, who was injured through the first month at AAA, but has come back and looks a lot better this year. And I would think that you're going to see him at some point sooner rather than later. The question will be, where do you play him? But I certainly think that if his bat is as warm as it's been at AAA, you need to get him back in this lineup as well.
Talking with Steve Carney, stpete9.com, stpete9.com. Also hosts the Under the Orange Roof podcast. Follow Steve on X at Steve Carney, Carney. They're, in theory, Steve, they're going to start getting a little healthier in terms of the pitching. Maybe a couple guys can come back before this month is out. Maybe a couple of guys around the All-Star break. We haven't asked this question in a long time, Steve. Do the Rays have enough pitching?
Yeah, the question is not going to be, do the Rays have enough pitching? The question is, do the Rays have enough relief pitching? Because we've seen the starters go down in years past. This year, they now don't have Pete Fairbanks. They don't have Colin Poche. They don't have Chris Davinsky. And so the question becomes not, can you take some of these relievers and make them starters like they've done with Zach Littell, like they're trying to do with Tyler Alexander? Can you take some of these guys that are going to be swingmen and make them back into relievers once the Taj Bradleys and the Shane Bozes and hopefully the Drew Rasmussens and Jeffrey Springs come back? Because you need that in the bullpen, and that's where the true question lies, is can they get enough relief pitching in order to help complement the guys that they are hopefully going to get back into the rotation?
Well, how do they do that, Steve? I mean, they're not typically a midseason trade team. With the injuries that they have, the farm system's going to be taxed. Where do they get the pitching from?
Well, I mean, they remade the bullpen on the fly last year. They went out and got Jake Diekman. They went out and got Littell. They went out and got Robert Stevenson in the middle of the season and did so for a song. Diekman had been released and was a signing. Littell was a waiver claim. Stevenson, they traded a prospect that they weren't really interested in to get him. I can see them doing something similarly this year. Looking around the waiver wire, looking around at guys that get designated for assignment here coming up through the middle of the season. It's not ideal, and certainly I'll be curious to see how they do it without Peter Bendix this year, of course, who is now running his own shop in Miami. He's been a guy that I know that was big into finding those jewels in the rough, like they did last year. So I'm kind of curious to see how that works this year.
Steve, any talk in the game about the game itself? Joel Sherman wrote an interesting piece earlier this week in the New York Post in which he said, yep, game's faster. There's no doubt about it. Rob Manfred, the pitch clock change again this year is taking another 3 minutes off the games. But that people in the game are going, yep, we're still boring. We're just doing it in less time.
I think that a lot of what has been made about it, about the speed of the game, is certainly a big plus. There's still a lot of 3-2 outcomes. I mean, you've seen it throughout the league. There's still a lot of strikeouts. There's still a lot of walks. There's still a lot of home runs. I think the league itself would love to be able to see more stolen bases. I think that there are guys throughout organizations around the league that will hopefully start to get that aspect going, but that is going to take more time than just cutting minutes off of times of game. The Rays have this guy, Chandler Simpson, who I believe is in Bowling Green in High A this year. So he's still a couple of years away, but he's a guy that they think that can steal 100 bases in a season. The Phillies have Carl Crawford's son, Justin Crawford, playing in High A this year. He's only 19 years old, but they feel like he can steal 80 or 100 bases in a season as well. And there are other guys around the league that are in the minors that are certainly looking at that speed aspect to try and get back into this game of baseball that we all love. But it is going to take more time.
Steve, as always, we appreciate your time and your insight. All the best in your travels and with stpete9.com and the Under the Orange Roof podcast. All the best.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Steve Carney, Carney. Follow him on X. We talked about it last hour, Mark, in our starting five. Mike Trout, another injury. Torn meniscus in his knee. He has no idea how he did it. I will say he stole the base and scored a run late in the game on Monday night. Woke up Tuesday morning in a hotel, couldn't get out of bed. But in our Twitch chat room, the question was asked, is Mike Trout becoming the next Ken Griffey Jr.? Mark, take the pandemic year out of it because he played 53 games, but we only played 60. In 2021, he missed 125 games. 2022, he missed 43. Last year, he missed 80. Now he's going to miss 2 months with a knee injury. This is when he's 29, 30, 31, and 32 years of age. Mike Trout also, by the way, is no longer a career 300 hitter because his average continues to go down. Even this year, he's leading the majors in homers with 10. When he goes on the injured list, he's hitting 220.
That's changing your game for what the game wants. That's today's baseball right there. Home runs and hitting two and a quarter.
But is Mike Trout literally... Now, Griffey still ended up with over 600 home runs. And Mike Trout, by the way, 378 right now. Home runs, Mike Trout. But, Mike Trout hasn't finished in the top 10 in the MVP voting in the last 4 years. Remember, Mike Trout finished in the top 5 in the MVP voting in, let me do the math, in 9 consecutive seasons. And, he's made all-star games because that's, fill out the ballot. He finishes top 3. But
I think the concern with Trout is it's everything. It's not that he's had a knee that's nagged him or an elbow. It's everything from his wrist
to his thumb
to his ribs,
to a calf. The strained calf is what he missed 100 plus games for the 1 year.
And like David said, he's not a spring chicken, so you now got to really consider. You can't count on him being healthy really at all anymore, unfortunately.
But just throwing that out there. Rays have lost 4 of 5, and they're in last place in the AL East.
Well, more concerning to me than the last place is they're under 500.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about a wild card, you what do you think in the American League? Got to get to 80. I mean, what was it? 89 wins last year got you in as a wild card. I think Toronto was the 6, and I thought they won just under 90. So, you get in the American League, this is the National League where you made it with 83, 84 wins last year. This is the American League. You think we got to win a few more. You got 4
I don't know how long Boston can continue on. I mean, they're playing way above their pay grade right now.
And you got 9 teams in the American League above 500 right now.
Right. But the teams in the AL Central, I don't know. I don't know how much staying power the Royals and Tigers have.
Well, even the Guardians, they're playing over their skis too, I think.
Yeah, they are. But someone's going to win that division. So I just you are absolutely right.
Do you know the Rays only have a better record than 3 teams in the American League right now? White Sox, Astros, Angels.
It's getting late early for Houston, by the way.
The Rays are tied with the Oakland A's in the standings right now in the American League. Oof. As Vern would say, oofta.
And attendance is similar.
Come on. Come on now.
Oh, it was a joke.
I know.
Not really, but it was a joke.
They'll have a good weekend this weekend. The Mets are in town. So, they'll get 8,000 Mets fans show up for all 3 games. So they won't have Marlins or A's attendance. Come on now. Marlins, by the way, 6,700 last night. Big crowd in Miami. Big crowd.
Playing the Rockies.
Well, they tried to blame it on Monday night because both the Panthers and the Heat were in action at home. So since neither one of them were in action last night and only 330 more people showed up, I think they should do, they tried all you can eat. Maybe they need to do what the Mets did, dollar dog night.
Bring back dollar beer night. That'll bring fans in.
Now we're talking. That's how I met my wife.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No Seth yet?
No, he's right there. Hi, Seth.
Hi.
How are you?
I was wondering if you forgot about me.
I was doing something. Then the commercial ended, so then I realized.
Gotcha. How are you?
Excellent. You?
I'm okay. Super foggy here.
No travel this week? Is your class not weekly?
No, my class is over, and they turned my classroom into an encampment. No, just kidding.
Oh.
Too soon.
Oh man. If we go down that road.
Yikes. How many people in your markets, or basically in the whole state, have to have an Xfinity? If you have cable, you have to have Xfinity. Like, how big a deal is this Bally's thing in Florida?
Well,
we have choices. You could get Fios. You could get.
Well, yeah, like I know in Jacksonville now they're doing this particular. I don't know, cable. It's not a cable company. It's a streaming. They've been units everywhere, all throughout the city. They're digging underground, and they're
right
giving you the option of using this particular service.
I don't know if where I am, Seth, there is no alternative service.
So you have to have Xfinity.
It's Xfinity or cut the cord, DirecTV, whatever. But if you are,
it's Xfinity or radio.
And I would imagine, Seth, I don't know what the current numbers are in Florida, but I would imagine that we're higher than the national average of people still using cable because it's older.
Yeah.
And you have so many neighborhoods that, a lot more HOAs here where cable television, like where my mom lives,
into the place. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's part of the rent and stuff like that. Yeah. No.
In fact, it's kind of like there's Publix and then a small competitor is Winn-Dixie. Mark, who the heck, from a cable standpoint, competes with Xfinity in this state?
I don't know. The Time Warner's big in the Tampa area.
True. That's true.
So yeah, I don't know. I've not lived all over the state to tell
Michigan is the same thing. Atlanta area is the same thing. Like they're all losing their it's fine. I was curious if that's a bigger story or not, because I didn't read it from a Florida perspective. I read it from a national perspective.
Or did something happen today?
Yeah. All Bally networks are off Comcast.
Like as of today?
Yeah.
Yeah. You no longer, if you have Xfinity, you're no longer able to watch the Rays Marlins.
No.
Now I'm depressed.
No.
Oh my God.
This move is that's one of the things that this move has worked out great for.
What, you don't have to watch it?
I got both. I have two Bally's channels, so I would always get Miami and Tampa.
Yeah. You have neither now.
I get Lightning and Panthers both nights. I get Heat and Magic both nights.
Yes, you'll get
nothing and like it, Spalding.
No.
You got to conform to the stick. You got to start streaming.
To quote Willy Wonka, you'll get nothing. Good day, sir.
You lose. Good day, sir.
You lose.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Well, I am officially depressed, and it is a little something to do with our next guest. Not him personally. It's the news that he brought with him, which I didn't realize. And Mark and Trent were nice enough to keep it from me because they know they would have lost me for the whole show. Now they're only going to lose me for the last half of the show. Our guest is Seth Everett. It's that day and time where Seth joins us. Seth_Everett on X, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, two great podcasts. And they actually have listeners and sponsors. It's an amazing thing. Most podcasts don't have either. So I lost my Bally's today.
Yeah. So Bally's, they've in their restructuring out of bankruptcy, they had to negotiate an extension with Comcast, which owns the Xfinity cable systems.
Right.
And they failed to come to an agreement. So it was announced May 1st, which felt like the future. I thought we'd have the flying car by now. The idea that all those networks just go dark. And you're going to have like some kind of if you go to that channel number, there'll be some disclaimer, write your congressman or whatever it tells you to do. And it's happening all over the country. So what I was saying to you guys in the break is very simply, how big a deal is this in Florida versus Georgia, Michigan, all the other ones that are being impacted? But Xfinity, you're screwed. And I don't know how they're going to rectify this, because in the bankruptcy, I don't know how much higher or less Bally's can ask for. Like, I don't know if they're negotiable. That's where it gets into bankruptcy court and all that stuff. And I it's outside my purview. I could care less after that.
But this affects all of South Florida, Southwest Florida, South Florida.
Thousands.
I believe millions. The Tampa area is big into Time Warner. So I don't think it affects the Tampa area the way it affects Jacksonville, the way it affects Southwest Florida, the way it affects South Florida, where
that was my question.
Dominant provider.
Right. here, where I live, you have a lot of options. You can do the Xfinity thing. You can also do, I think, Time Warner's around here. There's options, but if you're, from what I know of cable, whatever's dominant is dominant. That's what it is. And for a lot of folks, they're not going to cut the cord. And what I believe, if your team has a deal with Bally's, you don't have a separate in-market streaming deal. So you don't have the option, for example, that the San Diego Padres have, or the Colorado Rockies have, or the Houston Astros have, where you can subscribe for a fee to Rockies baseball, which, by the way, who is buying Rockies baseball?
Yeah, really. That's okay. They're playing the Marlins right now. I mean, whoo, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it combined, but 13,100 people at the first two games of the series. That's combined. That's not each night, just so you know. The Mets sold 44,000 hot dogs last night. All right. Don't know if the Marlins are going to attract 44,000 people on this 7-game homestand.
Well, and what's amazing to me is that Bally's is trying to charge a lot more than any other service for streaming out there. Their fee, if I want to get Bally's right now, it's $20 a month.
$20.
I mean, that's more than the ESPN, Disney Plus, Hulu bundle. That's more than Max.
MSG is 29. Nesson is 29 also.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I got an email from MSG because the minute New Jersey was eliminated from the playoffs, I canceled MSG because of that app. First of all, I couldn't do it faster. And they're like, well, you have it for the end of the month. So yesterday at the end of the month, I got an email from MSG saying, you will no longer have access to our services. Oh.
Well, but this is like a combo deal for Major League Baseball, because Major League Baseball is the sport that is the last one apparently affected by blackouts. Like, apparently, if you live in the state of Iowa, you can't see a Major League Baseball game. There's like 8 teams
Vegas
that are blacked out in the state of Iowa. It's absurd. In 2024 that we have blackouts. I don't know. Seriously.
Errol and I used to do whole hours on this.
Well, yeah, but I mean, your former best, your best friend, okay, unfortunately hasn't been with us for the last 9 years. So think about how long we have been talking about this. It's 2024. Okay, baseball fans all throughout the country this morning just woke up. They can't get their baseball team. You do know the season has 5 more months to go.
I know. I remember the guy in Vegas that couldn't watch the Giants, A's, Dodgers, Angels, Padres, Mariners. I think Rockies. I think, like, he couldn't watch any of those. And you live in Las Vegas. It's insane.
All right. In all seriousness, because most everybody listening right now, their dominant cable system is Comcast Xfinity. And if you're listening right now, there's a very good chance you're a serious sports fan. What am I going to do for the next 5 months? Because I'm in Jacksonville. I got 2 Bally's channels. So I was getting Miami Bally's and Tampa Bally's. I had the best of all worlds. Panthers Lightning. Yep. I got Heat Magic. I got Marlins Rays. I got the whole state I had access to.
I have 2 answers. If you are in my generation and techie, what I would do is I would get a VPN and fake the system and tell your digital system that you're in, Las Vegas right now, and get and watch it on MLB.TV. That's how I would do it. If you are
not being a smart ass, Seth, that is technically illegal, right?
Yes. No, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's a copyright violation. I don't think you'd get arrested for it.
Okay, I just got a letter. I just got a letter from the IRS in which they said I owed an additional $400 because apparently I didn't give them enough money earlier in the year because I pay my taxes quarterly. Am I going to get a letter from someone at the end of the baseball season because of what you just advocated, in which I need to write a check?
No, because I remember. For Formula E, for example, the broadcast outlet was only on tape delay in the United States, and I like the races. So I bought a VPN and I told my computer to pretend it was in England, and I watched it live on their Channel 4. Like that's how I did it. And it works, and now I don't need to anymore, and I dropped the thing. I don't, there's ways to get around it.
Okay.
The other aspect is,
hold on.
and I saw somebody on
hold on.
Facebook now saying they're ready to listen on the radio. We're
Ooh.
going backwards.
Well, that's true. I am a Sirius subscriber. I could listen to all the games on the app. All right. That's true.
How great is that?
How old would I seem if I'm sitting in my bedroom at night
On the bench? Yes.
Okay, right. Listening to baseball.
Reading 3-week-old Sports Illustrated.
David, I don't think you're allowed to do that in your house. What you have to do, by definition, because you live in a condominium complex, is find a bench. There's got to be a bench somewhere near a little lake, a little pond in your complex.
They're all over the place.
I was getting my oil changed, and I decided to stay, and there was a older gentleman with his phone who decided in the lobby that he was just going to listen to everything on his phone at full volume. And I'm sitting there reading an article, and I'm just cracking up. You've got to be that guy. No headsets, David. You've got to
9:30 at night.
You got to sit on the bench and turn the volume up and not listen to it with headsets.
You do know, Seth, when you said if you're like technologically, with it, I don't even know what a VPN is or how to get one.
I know.
Right. Okay. So that's what you're. I mean, you think
you have listeners that might.
When you're teaching those young minds that class at Syracuse, and sometimes they give you that look, you are getting that look from me right now.
They were so funny. Can I just tell that real fast? I'm not going to give the name of it, but I got a new sponsor for both Hall of Justice and Sports with Friends, and I was going over the details, and they had sent me the stat sheet while we were in class. And I just said to the students, I said, have you ever heard of this company? And three separate students that aren't even friends said, don't use them. They're awful.
You're like, well, they may be awful, but they're paying my mortgage.
They were like, please don't use them. I was like, okay, if you insist.
Seth Everett, Seth_Everett on X, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice are the two terrific podcasts. I am now officially depressed, guys.
I'm so sorry.
Because I'm 58, but I'm really 88 in terms of what I watch on television. I mean, I watch Law and Order and Blue Bloods reruns. Yeah. I watch baseball. I'm old.
It's like Moulton years. If any of you out there, if you identify with Moulton on this, just add 30 to however old you are.
You can't take a regional sports channel away from me. Now I have to talk to my wife.
Well, the good news is the hockey playoffs got another couple months. The basketball playoffs have another couple months. And,
hockey playoffs were great last night.
Yes,
so were the basketball playoffs, to be honest. It was a terrific little sports night.
And I'm not trying to be negative on the NBA. I didn't even know who was playing. I saw all 4 of these games. My daughter had the remote. She was flipping between Colorado and Winnipeg and Vancouver, and how late can we stay up? And the Boston, Tampa, and the Islanders, Carolina. She was all over it, and I was like, I was in heaven. What a fun night!
Yeah, it's a great time of year. The playoffs, hockey, and hoop, they can really carry the day. All right, are your podcasts any good this week or no?
Very good. Oh, they're very good.
All right.
No. Sports with Friends is a gentleman by the name of Luke Lipinski. You don't know his name, but up until about 10 days ago, he was the pre, post, and intermission host of the radio broadcast of the Arizona Coyotes. We have a real conversation about the job losses and what went wrong and how it went wrong. And the NHL is very earnest in saying, if you guys can get an arena, we'll get you a team. How realistic is that? How good or bad of a sports town is Phoenix? It's a fascinating podcast. I love relocation talk. And to me, you go for the market first. I'm going to talk to somebody in Utah, but to me, you go to Arizona first. And he was brilliant. He has a talk show, so it's not like he's unemployed.
Hall of Justice?
Hall of Justice, Star Wars, The Bad Batch. The series finale was released this morning. We'll have the review tomorrow.
He's Seth Everett. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice are the two terrific podcasts with the new sponsor that 3 of his students hate.
3 students really don't like.
Okay. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett.
Or get a VPN and watch Formula E racing with them and say you're in England.
Right. Where I have to, what city?
Hey, listen,
I'm in Vegas. What city am I?
Is that better
in?
than Marlins Rays? Is that, what's better?
It's certainly better than Marlins right now, Seth. There is no doubt.
So I have to buy a VPN and say I live in Vegas. That's what I have to do?
I want to see the angry people older than Moulton screaming about this all day today on social media.
Well, their birth certificate may say they're older, but their soul, they're almost all younger. Thanks, Seth. Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new vehicle today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. David's now looking at his TV, watching the Bally's channel to see what the disclaimer is.
You just hear like a TV in the background, can faintly hear the volume. That was great. I'm clipping that from the break. I'll post that as a video. His reaction in real time to finding out that he's not going to have Bally Sports. Oh, get it together, Trent.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm just laughing. It is World Laughter Day, so. Do we want to do a poll question, or are we just taking the L today?
We're taking the L.
That's our second one this week, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have one Monday.
Nice work on the FSW today.
Oh, yeah. Just my...
a little depression eating there. No Bally's.
I am really bummed.
Yeah, I haven't had Bally's since I cut the cord because it's not on YouTube TV.
I don't know how you live.
There's plenty of sports on TV that's not baseball.
Well, but now I understand that. And, once the first round series are over, the locals can't do the Panthers and
right. And they were on national anyhow.
So. Right. I understand. But I enjoy, except for the Lightning broadcasts, which I actually don't think are that good. The announcers are pretty boring.
And I was able to get the Lightning on ESPN Plus, David. So the only thing I was really missing were Florida Panthers games, Marlins, and Rays games. And is there any reason right now to watch the Marlins or the Rays?
Ooh. Wow. I guess I can make it through the spring and summer without baseball.
You guys will think this is funny. So my dad texted me during that last segment because he listens to the show. He says, I can't get Tigers anymore through Xfinity/Comcast. That blows. Have to figure something else out. And I said, don't we have DirecTV? And he goes, LOL, yes, my bad. It's like, I'm like, have no fear. We're good for now.
Look, Guillermo's got a poll question for us.
You know, I mean, it's never too late.
Ryan's got a poll question for us.
Man, our audience, they're far better at this than we are.
Here's what I'm going to do, and I'm dead serious. I'm going to start setting an alarm for 7 a.m. every single day, and by 7, we have to have a poll question.
Well,
here's the thing. Well, when we should have a poll question is at 5:30 a.m., not at 7.
I get that.
No.
I do. What I'm saying is sometimes through that first hour, something comes up or we talk about something that we could maybe get a segment out of later in the show. At which point I feel like 7 is a good cutoff. If we don't get a poll question out by 7, we're cooked.
What Mark's face is saying is that what we need to do is we need to do some show prep.
Communicate.
Okay. Here's the problem. None of the three of us want to communicate with each other before 5:53.
That's not true. I enjoy communicating with the both of you, unless I'm on the golf course.
I do too. Sometimes I'm just scared.
Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays usually from 1 to 5. I'm a little tough to communicate with.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays sounds like a part-time job. When do you work? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays.
Our New Year's resolution was to start having a poll
I
question.
love Trent. I don't mind talking with you guys, although sometimes I'm afraid.
Well,
I can understand that.
Sometimes I'm just a little intimidated.
And by the way, what he wants to put right after that is of David. Okay, that's so this is good. Felipe was scared of you, Mark. Okay, Trent's scared of me. The problem where Felipe is that you were right across the glass. See, Trent can deal with me. I'm 350 miles away. He's going to see me 5 days a year, maybe.
David texted me one time after the play of the day. He was like, that was terrible. What are you thinking? I'm paraphrasing, of course.
You got to do better than that.
He's like, you got to get it together with the play of the day. Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little depressed. All right, a little depressed because I can't change. I'm a cable guy. I can't change it. I got 2 other people in the household. I can't change it. I can't. Don't tell me I can't. I'm stuck with this. I am. Okay. Because I got one of the people in the household's memory's an issue. Okay. Knows where all the channels are. Right. I cannot change what I got. So me
just add to it.
Mark, please, you got to trust me on this.
No. I'm not asking you to change. I'm saying keep your cable system.
I know.
You may have to add to it. That's all I am saying.
Just already paying $300 a month for cable and internet and everything else. Really? Now I got to spend more money. I just want my sports. I want my snacks and my sports. That's it.
It looks like you're going to have to give up one.
Well, we know what it's going to be.
Well, it's going to be the sports because you're not giving up the snacks.
Damn right.
And with no sports, the snacking will go through the roof.
Through the roof. Unbelievable. I am going to try that idea of sitting on the bench, listening to the games on the app outside, full blast. See how long that lasts.
You may end up, though, with a lot of new friends. They'll all be older, and they'll go, ooh, that guy's down there listening to baseball. I think I'm going to go join him.
Do you think, and I'm asking this of everyone right now, 21,000 on the text line, do you think if I sit at the communal pool, and I understand once it gets dark, you're not supposed to be there. We don't have any security. Okay, nobody's going to kick me out. and you know me, I resist authority. I like to break the rules. Do you think if I sit at the communal pool and listen to the games on my phone on the app, okay, that'll be okay?
I think someone will call on you for disturbing them. It'll be too noisy. I will say it's warm enough that everybody should have the door shut. It's air conditioning time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I do think you will elicit some sort of a response from someone who will be fearful of you being by the pool after hours, David. They live at those places to find a rule breaker.
That part's true. But I was just going to say, how loud are these phones actually getting? Because it's not like you're hooking up to a subwoofer.
Yeah. And the people in the Twitch chat room saying use earbuds. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay. Just telling you right now, that's not going to happen.
No, we want David to channel his inner
right
7 to 10-year-old listening to the transistor radio.
Right. That's exactly how I want to do it. I want the transistor radio under my ear, okay, laying in bed at night, listening to the Mets on the West Coast. That's exactly what I want now. And I can just go from Sirius channel to Sirius channel, going from one game to another. Absolutely. And I do love play-by-play on the radio. Absolutely love it.
You and I both.
Yep.
I mean, that's where we cut our teeth in this business.
It's what you and I actually wish we probably could have done for our entire careers. All right. But life gets in the way. Never mind the fact that, we're mediocre. No, actually, it's not true. We both had big opportunities and family came first. And we're thrilled about that. But anyway.
If you're just joining us and you are an Xfinity subscriber, you no longer have the Bally Sports package. David found out moments before our Seth Everett interview began.
And he is beside himself.
If there was ever a time to have seen David on twitch.tv or the Action News Jax app, how we distribute the show in Jacksonville, or YouTube, or however you're taking the show in via video, Moulton nearly had a breakdown right before we went on air.
And then during the commercial break just now, I checked to see whether or not it was true. And I looked up the channels, and there was the disclaimer in which they did say, I'm going to get however much money that, we spend for Bally Sports. Wow, I am going to get that back, Mark. So I think my cable bill just went down, what, $2.71?
Something like that.
Yeah. I am despondent.
$20 a month. You can buy the app, have it right on your phone. That's what they want. That's what it's going to cost you to get Marlins. Yeah.
Well, can I go through like an MLB.TV and probably get it for less?
Probably not. I know I can't, because I checked with MLB TV. I was going to buy the package, but the Marlins and Rays are blacked out on that package for me.
Along these lines, and Bud Elliott, by the way, coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk all things college sports, particularly college football. Did you hear? So remember the original story? Andrew Marchand, when he was with the New York Post like a year ago, said, listen, NBC is going to back up the Brinks truck for the NBA. And then ESPN and Turner both had exclusive negotiating windows. And the story was, well, they're both going to get deals done during that windows because they don't want to lose it. Yeah, neither one of them got their deal done. Now, apparently the deal with ESPN ABC is close. But Turner wants to downsize. They don't want to do as much NBA as they're doing. But they still want to keep the NBA because of that show. I mean, I think Turner wants to keep the NBA as much for Ernie, Chuck, and Shaq, and Kenny as they do for the games. I really do at this point. And NBC has apparently said to the NBA, yeah, we want Turner to be done. How much will it cost? And the NBA said something like, well, it'll probably cost you a couple $2 billion a year. And reportedly, NBC said, yeah, that's fine. So NBC wants Turner out of the NBA, which raises two questions, and I'm serious about this. And for those of you who don't watch the NBA, I'm curious, what then do you watch on TNT? Why would you keep paying for TNT if it doesn't have the NBA? For what? 4 days of March Madness?
Well, can I say this honestly?
Some hockey playoffs.
TNT does a good job of you guys are gonna laugh. They have good movies.
I understand
they
the
do
movies
the
that
Star
you
Wars
can get.
marathons and all that sort
Oh
of
yeah, no, they do. But they're movies that you can get access to,
rather easily without having to see commercials or.
True. Very true.
Right. And so there are people wondering if Turner loses the NBA. Mark, how different is TNT from True TV if they lose the NBA?
David, I don't watch those channels unless there are sports on them.
Exactly.
Ever.
Now you and I are hockey guys, and TNT carries hockey. But we all know hockey is a niche audience, and it's a small niche. And so people are wondering, could this be the demise of TNT? Also, if you're the NBA, you can't lose Kenny, Chuck, Shaq, and Ernie. I mean, don't you say if you're the NBA, we're going to take your money under one condition. You got to hire them. That's got to be your show. I'm serious, Mark.
It's the most important pre- and post-game show that there is in sports right now.
Period. If you're Adam Silver, NBC's money, but you lose that show, or go the other route you were going to go and keep that show.
Keep that show. David, that show is a big part of the NBA.
That show has raised a generation to love the NBA.
Yes.
And I'm not kidding. I mean,
No.
people that are my age or a little younger, we have tuned into that show for a decade and have loved every second.
Or a touch older also. And that's the one thing the NBA has on all the other sports. Their demo is younger. So this is a fascinating little behind the scenes. I know sometimes we talk the business and then some people go, whatever. I don't know. This seems important. And of course, if NBC comes back, Mark, are they going to bring John Tesh's music theme? Okay, NBC sold the rights to that to Fox. It's a whole deal.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We're not calling Bud, right?
Oh, Bud should be hooking up via video.
Okay.
Yes, Finn's Brett. Mark noticed it too. Oh, yeah. I'm stressed out over this Bally's thing.
This is the downside of having breaks live, is you get called out for for snacking during the break.
I'm starving.
Especially for what I'm eating at 8:30 in the morning, too. I mean, Tostitos. I mean, how horrible is that? But I mean, I had a banana, Pop-Tarts, and Tostitos this morning for breakfast. Bless you, Mark.
A banana?
Thank you.
A Pop-Tart and Tostitos?
Well, 2 Pop-Tarts. I mean, they come 2 to a thing. I mean, you don't eat 1 Pop-Tart. Who the hell eats 1 Pop-Tart? I mean, if I was dating a woman and she only ate 1 Pop-Tart, I'd break up with her.
So I threw it out at my daughter because of the birthday week. She wanted everybody to come Thursday and have lunch with her, which I thought would be really embarrassing, and I would love to do it. My mother-in-law gets in town tonight. She wanted everybody. And I'm like, Maddie, I was supposed to make her lunch for today, and I just didn't really feel like it. I'm like, what if I bring you lunch today? What if I show up on Wednesday? Mom and Grandma show up on Thursday. I said, I'll even show up again on Friday for you. I'll spoil you a week. She went, you know what'd be good, Dad? You know that place where you get the cheese at? I want one of those meatball subs.
There you go.
All right there.
There you go. So do I, honey.
We're splitting a meatball sub for lunch.
Oh, my goodness. I'm impressed you can split a meatball sub. I'd look right at her and go, well, yeah, but then what are you going to eat? Yeah, really, Dre. What flavor Pop-Tart? Thank you, Deadstruck. Thank you. Come on.
Death taxes, molten eaten brown sugar Pop-Tarts.
Did you send Bud a link?
I did.
Okay.
And there he is, just like that.
What's up, guys? Hey, this is all I got for Mike today. I'm sorry, my thing's not connecting.
That's fine.
If this is really, really bad, then I understand.
No, it sounds fine.
Well, first off, Bud, let's be honest, okay? Your appearance will be dictated by what my mom thinks of your hair and your fashion, okay? I'll get that in the next. I'll get
You
that.
look good this morning, Bud.
I agree.
Shirt,
I think
shaved.
you look great.
Nope.
Totally.
Shaved, did the hair. We actually we have a surprise cupcakes for my son's birthday at school.
When's the birthday?
His birthday is the end of the month, but they won't have school at the end of May. So
Well, it's interesting because we were just discussing Mark's daughter turns 10. Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
nice. There you go. Yeah, he turns 5 in end of May. So
Okay. So bringing the cupcakes to the school?
we are. Yeah.
Pre-K, right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Such a great age.
It is. It's a good age. He was mad. He couldn't go to could have me to softball last night because we had a double header. Like, I don't know about the 10 o'clock bedtime. For a 4-year-old, but
right.
I don't know about it for a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And we're playing my daughter plays softball till damn near 10 o'clock, till damn near 9 o'clock, a couple days a week.
We have playoffs for T-ball coming up.
Oh God.
Dude.
Are you coaching?
Yeah. Some of these guys take this a little more serious than I do.
Oh, do they ever?
I'm like, can we just get better every practice and have fun every game? Like, I really don't.
I'm so happy. My daughter's softball coach is a college football referee, and he told everybody, there's a playoff. When the playoffs come, we'll try to win. Up until that point, our job's to get them to be better.
Yeah.
And have fun. And he's great.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, good luck, bud. Let's go, Skip.
Mom says you look great.
Look at that. Thank you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. Bud Elliott's kind enough to join us. He joins us every week during the college football season. There's like a handful of times a year outside it in which I bother him and go, hey, come on, can you come on the show? He's like, yeah, sure. That's fine. And he got dressed up today. Collared shirt. The beard is trimmed. The hair is tight. Got to check out this show on Twitch, folks. I'm telling you, Bud's a good-looking guy. How are you?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great. Listen, first off, your thoughts on the portal. You got to declare by tonight, right?
So it's kind of a lot of rules, but you had to have declared by last night if you are not a graduate transfer. Graduate transfers get one extra day. Then schools get a 48-hour period to put your paperwork in. It's basically kind of like are you sure you want to do this period? So they can kind of sit on your paperwork for 48 hours. So the latest that we should know someone's in the portal should be like Friday. And that would be like if somebody submitted tonight, the school held it for 48 hours and then it finally popped there, which unless there's like, obviously we've had some wild tornadoes. Like if we had a certain circumstance where like the school got more time to submit or something, maybe we could have somebody pop Monday, but we should know every single guy who's in the portal by Friday.
And is this just this portal based off of basically spring ball, guys not being where they want, giving them one chance to move again? Is that the purpose of this late portal?
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's largely what this is. Some schools being desperate, they need an extra guy here, extra guy there. I think we're seeing some of the G5 teams, get rated a little bit, but for the most part, schools, they spent their money in the winter window. They knew what they needed. They went out and got it. This has largely been kind of a dud overall, which probably doesn't great for our ratings right now. But that just not going to lie about it. Like it's not been a super talented window.
He's Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, part of the CBS Sports family. Cover 3 podcast, Nolecast. Follow him on X, Bud Elliott 3, 2 L's, 2 T's, the number 3, Bud Elliott 3. All right. Who's crushed the portal so far in your estimation?
So I would say Ole Miss, Florida State, Texas A&M have all done a really good job. I think Texas has done a nice job. I think Miami has probably been the best team of the spring window. I mean, they've gone out and added, depending on who you listen to, somewhere between 3 and 5 starters, and they're trying to add, potentially one more. Those schools have all done a really good job with it. I talked to a source at Florida State, and he's like, look, we took 14, like 11 are like exactly what they thought they would be or better. And then the other 3 are kind of like multi-year developmental kids that we thought we would take a shot on. So, they've done a really nice job. I think Ole Miss has elevated extremely well. Texas added some really nice pieces there on offense, and they had to because they lost 2 receivers in like the top 40 picks of the NFL draft. So those are the schools that I would really highlight so far.
What about on the other side, Bud? Who took it on the chin?
Mostly your small schools. Michigan State has had a tough spring window. I will note that. Like they lost 2 pretty darn good defensive tackles in Derek Harmon and Simeon Barrow. So that is a little bit difficult to replace, and they lost a decent safety yesterday. Houston has lost an awful lot. They had a coaching change, obviously going from Dana to Willie Fritz. I have no doubt that long-term, like Houston will be fine because I think Willie Fritz really knows how to coach, and he wins like everywhere that he goes. But for the most part, it's been sort of your like very low P5 and a lot of your G5s that just don't have really any NIL to compete. And I think we probably saw that reflected in the NFL draft numbers. I mean, we had like 3 or 4 NFL draft picks from the entire like American Conference or the MAC or Conference USA. So if you have like legitimate NFL talent, for the most part, you're getting kind of identified and paid by these Power 5 programs.
The Gators, how have their last 60 or so days gone? Because, we on this show for 2 years have kind of compared Napier to Norvell, even though he's a year behind. It's like, listen, he needs to follow what Norvell did. And Norvell's big period of time was after year 2 and before year 3. How has Napier done?
So they've added some important help on the defensive line. This kid and Joey Slackman, they're really high on. He could really help them quite a bit because remember they kept Jackson, the big D tackle that absolutely destroyed Tennessee when Florida beat them. this year. Like, he came back. He didn't go to the draft. So that's a really important win that they had, back in February. So we're stretching a little bit longer than 60 days, but like still, that was pretty big for them. I saw Napier at a high school coaching clinic, and he said, like, I'm paraphrasing here, basically this year, because of our work in the portal, we have real offensive tackle bodies. So that was a real priority for UF. They went out and got them. They kept DJ Lagway, obviously, in at the signing day, so that was big. We saw him look good in the spring game. I think Florida needs to try to find like a true X receiver out there, like a bigger body, because I love Wilson, and they got Chimere DK from Wisconsin, who's a pretty nice player. I kind of want to bet like over on Florida's win total, just because everybody in the world is just so negative and out on these guys. And I'm like, where's the value in being like more negative on a team that everybody already hates, right? It's like betting under on the Jets when everybody already thinks they're going to stink. Maybe not this year, but just in general. So the problem there is the schedule is a real, it's a meat grinder. And if you have some injuries that start to snowball, there's not a lot of like just easy, you can just kind of roll the ball out there and win because your logo is the Gators. So that kind of gives me a little bit of pause, but I think they've done a nice job.
Any other spring over-under numbers that you've jumped on, bud?
Nothing really yet. I've been waiting to see some of this portal stuff. If people like really start to get under on Louisville because of some of the guys they lost in the portal, I'm not so sure that Louisville's like super sad about missing those guys. And they got Tyler Shuck, who was at Oregon and was at Texas Tech. I've always thought he can really play at quarterback if he can stay healthy. Now, staying healthy has always been his major problem, but I know Braum is extremely high on him. So if that Louisville number keeps ticking down, I could see maybe going over there.
Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, the CBS Sports family. Cover 3 podcast, Nolecast. Follow him on X at Bud Elliott, the number 3, 2 L's, 2 T's, Bud Elliott 3. All right. The goings on in Dallas that we found out about, where, based on your sources and who you're talking to and what the schools are telling you, what is it the schools want to do going forward? If they can have their way, get it out of the court system, what system would they set up?
It's hard to know because when we say the schools, there are so many different schools that are operating under different kind of wants and needs. I think one of the main goals is for them to acquiesce to enough that they can show some positive steps to Congress, right? Again, we've long thought Congress is not going to do a damn thing for these guys because they continue to spin their wheels. But if they can be like, hey, we have revenue sharing, we have this, we have that. Congress, we want an antitrust exemption. Congress, we want a designation that these guys are not employees. That would be I think what all of the schools would want. Some sort of revenue sharing, take a positive step to be like Congress, okay, like you guys are trying here. Let's quote unquote save college football.
Bud, you run a business. If you're agreeing to share revenue, what are the people that you're sharing revenue with called?
They would be your employees. I know. This is what, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's sort of a legal fiction we're operating with here, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
So ultimately, the stuff we're reading about now is the House case, which is basically like, hey, you guys had illegal rules preventing us from making money based on our name, image, and likeness. Let's get some back pay plus some penalties for that for like the last 10 or so years. The settlement could be like in the billions with the B. That comes out to kind of like 20-ish million per school. I think that's going to be a real important dividing line in college football in terms of like who's going to go to the eventual upper division and who's going to probably stay more in like the second division if you want to compare this to English soccer, right? So I don't know how many teams that is. Maybe that's 80 teams, maybe that's 70, whatever. But not all schools are going to want to pony up, 20, 25, 30 million as a settlement penalty and then commit, to that long term.
So you actually see a breakaway coming at some point. What we've been talking about for 4 or 5 years of the big boys taking their ball and doing their own thing. You see that really as the end game of this.
Yeah, I do. I think Dennis Dodd, my colleague at CBS, had a really insightful column like 2 or 3 months ago about this. And he's like, that instead of like having to say like who's in, who's out, it's just, hey, pay up and you're in, or don't pay up and you're in the secondary division. And I think a lot of schools would be cool with that, right? Because I don't know that every single college football player through all divisions needs to be labeled an employee or needs to actually have like significant revenue sharing, because in some instances there's really not a whole lot of revenue, to share. But obviously there are a certain number of schools where they're making, 100 million. Like that's a real difference. So that's kind of how I see it going. I'm curious about the long, like the timeline on it.
Well, don't you think, I mean, realistically, don't we have the rest of this TV deal to work everything out? That the line in the sand is really going to be drawn around 2031 when this short-term 12-14 playoff deal with ESPN, when that comes and goes, what college football looks like in the 2030s is going to be everything we just talked about. The line in the sand gets drawn. Anywhere from 48 to 80 schools are playing one level of football. Everybody's doing everything else. The new TV deals are going to involve the 48 to 80 schools. As for the other schools, good luck. That's basically, we've got 6 years, right? This sport has 6 years to figure out what it's going to look like for probably the rest of the 21st century.
That's largely what I think. Yeah. The other thing will be, does ESPN pick up the ACC extension option? They have until the end of next year to decide to do that. Now, obviously, if Florida State and Clemson and maybe a couple other schools 100% are out, is ESPN going to pick up that option at the same money? I don't know. They actually have a pretty sweet deal right now, but if you look at like where the ratings come from in that conference, I don't know. Like, do you want to pay Boston College $35 million if you're not also getting, Florida State and Clemson and potentially whoever else? So that's going to be the other like shorter term thing to watch in terms of the TV contracts.
On that note, what type of chances do you give Florida State in this lawsuit with the ACC?
Like a prevailing and winning where they owe zero? I would say,
or just being able to get out. Even if they, like right now, the word is they got to pay $500 million. It seems as if Florida State's willing to pay somewhere between 150 and 250. Do you think that's where we're headed?
I do. Yeah, I think that is the most likely outcome here. Florida State appears to be doing pretty well in Florida court. Obviously, the ACC is doing well in the court of North Carolina. We will see what tracks those stay on and where ultimately this thing goes. But I do think that they will ultimately settle this.
And where do you see them ending up?
I think it's the Big Ten. Unless the SEC decides that they really don't want the Big Ten to have a major property in the state of Florida. Like it's easy to say, hey, we don't want them. Florida doesn't want them in. But then they got to be your neighbor, and they're part of a different league. I don't know.
Well, don't you think, based on what you said, where the ESPN basically has 20 months where they have to figure out if they're going to renew their ACC deal? Well, they're only going to renew it if Florida State's in the conference, or they're going to not renew it, but they're going to keep Florida State because they're in the SEC and they have exclusive rights to the SEC. So don't you think, in a way, Sankey and ESPN are going to settle what happens to the ACC in the next 18 months?
It largely, yes, but I do think that the SEC and, by proxy ESPN have to be a little bit more careful with this because they also own the rights for the ACC, right? So like, whereas Fox is just a clear competitor, and if Florida State gets out, like, okay, cool, they're scot-free. If you're ESPN, it's like, okay, like are we going to get sued by the ACC schools for messing up that deal? Like, I think it's a little bit cleaner. If you get out, you can just go to the Big Ten with Fox.
The over-under on Notre Dame's 10.5. Okay, the only game, if you look at their schedule right now, the only game they might be a dog in is at USC, the last game of the regular season. Are you inclined right now to go over on Notre Dame?
I am not. I actually have A&M favored by 2 to open the year. So I think Notre Dame's defense will be excellent. I need to see Riley Leonard moving around. I think he's a decent thrower of the football. I do not think that he's a special player if his legs are real limited. So he had a second surgery. He is back throwing, so that's extremely encouraging to me that he's already back throwing. Obviously didn't play in the spring game. Also, Notre Dame lost offensive tackle number 1 and offensive tackle number 8, I think, in the NFL draft. Like, that's not nothing, guys. So they do play a couple teams that have legitimate, like, 2 expected high draft picks at defensive end in A&M, and then also later on in the year, Florida State should have 2 highly drafted guys at edge rusher. So I am pretty high on Notre Dame. Love that veteran defense. Need to see the offense.
He's Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports Family, Nolecast, Cover 3. Follow him on X, Bud Elliott, the number 3, 2 L's, 2 T's, Bud Elliott 3. Bud, you look great. Hope the family's well. All the best. We'll do this again in the dead of summer.
Let's do it.
Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. We're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We don't have one today, Kilo.
We failed.
Yeah, miserably. We're 1 for 3 on the week. Not generating good questions, just generating any questions.
Tomorrow we'll have a really good poll question.
Right. Meanwhile, our audience, I mean, we threw that out there. Hey, we're really struggling. Our audience rattled off 7 poll questions. Boom, right away. It's like, son of a man, we suck. Trent, Kilo's dad wants to know why you're not wearing a hat. That's 2 days in a row, right?
If we don't do a poll question, I don't wear a hat.
That's not true. We had a poll question yesterday. You didn't have a hat, but that's good. That's smart. You know what it is, Kilo? He's into his hair. All right. He loves his haircut. Okay. And he's putting the product in his divot there. Okay. And so he doesn't want to mess it up. And now that the draft has come and gone, he's just like,
Hey, how about that? The DAA plans to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. You mean so it's not the same as cocaine anymore? Right.
You mean smoking weed isn't as bad as shooting up? I'll be damned.
It's yeah. That might be my good today.
You mean fentanyl-laced cocaine is no longer in the same category as weed?
Well, it still is for now. They may change it.
Oh, they may change it.
No, I guess they plan on okay, all right.
RCB, you're welcome. Thanks for listening, watching. Yeah, Bud's great. Bud's one of our top 5 guests. People like him.
I forgot how much I missed having him on until.
Yeah. People love his info, like him personally. Our audience likes him. Except Buried in Bourbon, apparently. Unless he's talking about something else.
No, I think Buried in Bourbon's a Gator fan. He thinks that he's biased, which is laughable.
Well, you guys are Gator haters.
We are. I hate the Gators. Always have, always will.
It's not true. It's just.
I don't like the Gators.
He's just tired of the texts. That's all. See, Buried in Bourbon, I actually think your anti-Noel bias influences your opinion of Bud, because Bud has always been Bud's been more positive about Billy Napier than the 2 show hosts. Bud's been more positive about the Gators than he bet them over last year, if my memory serves me correctly. He thought they'd get to 6, and they should have.
Whoever your favorite team is, I don't like.
Just, ladies, I'm doing the show with Joe Buck. That's good to know. Joe just puts it out there on X. I hate your team. I do. Yep.
Who is Joe? Like, does Joe have any allegiances?
No.
Once you become national, you really don't. Okay.
I get it, but I mean, what was?
Probably
he grew up in St. Louis, and his dad was the voice of the Cardinals, and he was too early in his career. If he has an allegiance, it's with them.
Maybe it's the St. Louis Blues because
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the 4th and final hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day, on this May Day. Let's get over the hump together, shall we? Hope your week's going well. Hope your year, for that matter, since we're now officially a third of the way through it, is going well, and we hope it gets better. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Miss any part of the show, go to millerandmoulton.com. Steve Carney, Seth Everett, Bud Elliott, our guests so far on the show. millerandmoulton.com. Trent does a terrific job of uploading every hour in podcast form within minutes of the hour concluding. The other thing's a little shaky. Okay, podcasts, he's phenomenal. By the way, you're getting grief because you're not wearing a hat today. For those that watch on twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, you've been a hat guy for your first 5-6 months as part of our show. This week, no hat, which I will say, Mark, corresponds with a new haircut. I think he's protecting it.
Protecting the hair.
Right, even though I wear a headset all morning and it
Right.
messes that up. So look, there's a little bit of a science or a nuance to the hat game. I don't have a Spartan hat down here that I love. And when I wear Michigan State shirts, for those of you not listening, you can always check us out on Twitch. I don't have a hat to wear with my Spartan gear.
There you go.
So that's honestly the reason.
And you've been wearing a lot of Sparty gear this week.
I have. So when I wear Lions gear, it's always the Lions hat, or the visor. I do like the visor. The Gus Malzahn, Sean Payton.
I'm curious because Sean never throws his visor and Gus does. So which one are you? Are you a throw the visor guy?
I have thrown the visor. My family can attest to this.
Gotcha.
It's usually a throw it right down at the ground, though. I don't want to break anything. spike the visor.
Do you ever hit yourself with your hat, or do you take it and just whack it across the thigh?
Right.
I have not done that. Is that a golf course special?
That's if I do it, I hit myself with my visor.
Have you guys ever broken a club?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
It's been a long time.
But like, how so? Did you snap it, or did you just break the head off of it? How did that work?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Oh,
many different ways. Many different ways to break a club.
I have not, but when I played golf competitively in high school, and I'll never forget, there was a great tournament, it was a 2-man scramble tournament, and me and the other guy, and Tim, and his last name escapes me, but he missed a 7-iron, and it was a shot over the water, and he hit the ball in the water, and he took his 7-iron and proceeded to throw that 7-iron right into the middle of the lake. And I've never laughed harder, which got him to lighten up, and he laughed. And then we got in all kinds of trouble because our competitors told their coach that the kid threw it in the lake. So the coach was all over poor Tim for throwing him. He threw his club in the lake. It was a bad 7-iron. What do you want him to do?
Was it really a bad 7-iron or a bad swing? Or did
it was a bad. He hit a bad 7-iron. It was a bad.
Of
course, it was a bad swing.
I did that with an 8-iron, by the way.
Threw it in the lake.
Yeah, had to play the final couple of weeks of the golf season with a makeshift 8-iron that wasn't anything close to the one I had in my bag. Hit the ball like 10 yards shorter than what I was normally hitting an 8-iron. It was actually turned into a problem. It was better around the greens, but not good from the fairway. So, yeah, Trent, there's many different ways to break a club. I got a club stuck in a tree. I threw it, got stuck in the tree. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those, by the way, you just keep on going. No, you just keep on going. And then the round's over and you play it cool and everybody else leaves and then you circle back on the course.
I would love to be the guy that's golfing behind you, doesn't see you do that. But then, I put my ball over in the rough and there's a tree and I look up and there's a club in the tree.
Yeah, you couldn't see it. I mean, I threw it in the tree. It wasn't in the low-hanging fruit part of the tree. No. You had to get up and climb the tree. I mean, like damn near ladder needed help getting to a certain point of the tree to then climb to where it eventually was. Right.
Did you throw it like a tomahawk or was it like javelin style?
Oh, tomahawk. Always tomahawk. Hard to throw a golf club like a javelin. It's a tomahawk throw. I mean, it's.
And I threw it sidearm too.
Or it's a baseball bat type of launch. It's one of the other.
It was like a 3/4 tomahawk too. Okay. Oh yeah, in a tree. Yep. 8-iron. Threw a putter. Missed a big putt late in the match. Threw a putter.
Did you ever break a putter?
No, because I felt we'll wait until after the round type deal. So no, but I was so just missed a putt on 17 and just threw it in the lake. There was no water on 18. And I said, screw it. I'll putt with like a 2-iron. So there I was on the 18th putting with a 2-iron. Coach looks at me and goes, "Rough day, huh?" I said, "Shut up. 6-footer last hole. Leave me alone."
You told your coach to shut up?
Yeah, well, it's part of my charm. I mean, you think my golf coach got bent out of shape because I told him to shut up? Do you know what he listened to for 3 years? Shut up. He thinks I'm in a good mood if I told him to shut up. He's actually the reason I graduated high school. Because apparently I had cut too much. And I did. I was out practicing in the middle of the day all the time and then was leaving early to go play golf matches and what have you. And then so at the end of the school year, I was over the amount of time. And they're like, yeah, you're not going to get your diploma. You're going to have to go to summer school. And so I told the golf coach. And he said, okay, well, all right. And 2 days later, all of a sudden, I got my thing back, and like 6 days got taken off of how much I'd missed. Apparently, the golf coach went in and said, yeah, he was golfing the whole time. Okay.
That's a good coach right there.
John Tooker right there.
Probably shouldn't have told John to shut up.
No, I did at the banquet. I did. I said, Coach, I owe you. So, yeah. Oh yeah, did we throw a club? Did Miller or Moulton throw or break a club? Are you serious? Did you really think there was a chance? The answer was no. A chance.
No, good point. I knew where this was going. I just kind of wanted to, throw the meat to the dogs and have you guys just.
It's embarrassing to think back upon it. How stupid.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
We look.
It is embarrassing, right? I broke a driver, slammed it on the T marker there. Boom! Head snapped off. I guess we're hitting 3 wood the rest of the day.
But it's not too embarrassing because you guys are here telling the stories. So if anyone ever doubts our authenticity or our honesty, I would revert back to this segment right here.
There's no shtick.
There is no shtick.
No, we admit when we screwed. We did it on Monday. Talked about arguably the most stupid thing we've ever said, and let me tell you what a list that is. All right, but is when we mocked the NFL for moving the draft into prime time.
We were so angry with the NFL for doing it. I mean, that was the other thing. We were offended.
Okay, so help me out. How did it used to be?
Saturday and Sunday.
It was just 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Rounds 1 through 3 were Saturday.
1 through 3 Saturday, 4 through 7 Sunday.
Well, what time did they start Saturday?
Noon.
And
when did they change this?
2015-ish, around there.
How did I not know?
We were still in our first act, and our first act ended shortly after the 2016 draft. So I'm guessing it's nearly 10 years.
I remember my first draft in Florida, being at the beach, listening to the draft on the radio at the beach, and I thought it may have been the coolest thing I'd ever done. Like, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm at the beach, I've got a cold beer, and I'm listening to the NFL draft. Life does not get much better than this.
Except when I start listening to Major League Baseball at night in the condo pool area on my SiriusXM app, okay, violating, all the rules of when you could be at the pool and what have you. Yep. Who's that manatee down by the pool? What is he doing? It's 10 o'clock at night.
For those of you that don't know, and David was one of the people that did not know, Xfinity's deal with Bally Sports has ended. You are no longer getting the Bally Sports or the Sunshine Sports or Sun Sports, rather, on your package with Xfinity. That affects Jacksonville. That affects Southwest Florida. That means no Marlins. That means no Rays. That means no Heat. That means no Magic. That means no Lightning. That means no Panthers.
Which, by the way,
like tonight, the Heat are in Boston. Okay, it's the first round can be shown on regional. If you're a Heat fan and you like watching your announcers, you ain't getting them tonight. If you've got cable,
you still be able to watch the game.
Right, you'll have to watch the national broadcast, right?
I was just going to throw out there that Miller and Moulton are the two to ask because David's over here beside himself, whereas Mark is like, I have no reason to watch the Rays or Marlins right now.
Well,
I made the switch over a year ago to YouTube TV. It doesn't affect me at all.
It does affect me. And it greatly affected me during the hockey season because I was unable to watch the Florida Panthers. They were blacked out. I have ESPN Plus. I was able to watch the Lightning, but not the Panthers, and that sucked. I was very happy that the playoffs started, that I could start watching Florida Panthers hockey because they are an incredibly entertaining team. I really like watching the Rays broadcast. I enjoy their broadcast.
Agreed.
It's a good listen, good watch to me. So, no, I'm bothered by it, but I'm not going to fork out $20 a month right now for the Bally's app. That's ridiculous.
Plus, it's nice to see, Trent, if you wondered what hairstyles were like in the 80s, you can watch the Rays broadcast because Dwayne Statz still has the fro from the 80s.
I'm looking it up right now.
If you take a look, Dwayne Statz did the Yankees in the mid-'80s. You take a look at like his yearbook photo, if you will, 40 years ago when he did the Yankees, and take a look at the photo they have of him now doing Rays. It's the same hair.
Oh, he looks incredible. This is awesome.
Yep. That hairdo hasn't changed, in a long time. Yeah, I'm messed up over this.
And I won't be bothered really and truly until June because the playoffs will go on until last night. Who needed baseball last night? The Sixers' incredible comeback. You got Toronto hanging around, beating Boston in overtime. The Magic Cavs game was a great game.
I watched it on Bally's. I do. When I can, I watch the locals. I want the bias. I also want the added info.
Well, there you go.
Well, I mean, come on. Do you
No,
really
I'm
think the
with you,
national
David.
announcers know anything besides Donovan Mitchell? Do you honestly think the national announcers know a hell of a lot, particularly about the Orlando Magic?
No.
So, no, I watched the Magic broadcast last night. Cavs won by 1, by the way. Home teams are 5-0 in the series. Game 6 in Orlando, and I'll have to watch it on what, NBA TV?
NBA TV.
Or just go to a bar, David.
Yeah, that involves meeting people, making friends. Come on, Trent. I think I'd rather sit poolside, break curfew, listen to it on Sirius XM. Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're
you go.
shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Last night, I took a shower, got some face wash in my eye, my left eye. I thought it was over. I was dying for like 20 minutes, trying to just rinse my eye out. Wasn't getting any better. Still kind of stings a little bit.
That's it, Arch. If Trent feels the need to share a story, doesn't matter what it's about.
That's what the breaks are for.
You guys ever put socks on before your shoes? Do you go sock, shoe, or sock, shoe, shoe? Sorry, that Archie Bunker thing still kills me.
It's good. For what it's worth, our bonus hour from last Friday, so right after the draft, was our most downloaded podcast ever.
Wow. Thanks for that, Clark. Good to know.
So what was the question? Socks, then pants, then shoes? What? Huh?
No, I was doing the meathead.
Gotcha.
Sock and a shoe, sock and a sock and a shoe and a shoe, or a sock and a shoe and a sock and a shoe.
No Irish football, but they did pay Chris Jones, and they were kind of sort of paying Kelsey. And they were paying both tackles. Also, Irish football, how many teams are going to have a Travis Kelsey? Man, he's one of the 5 best tight ends of all time.
What are they doing? Do you have Get Up on over there?
No.
Yes.
Never.
JJ McCarthy start week 1 for the Vikings. Isn't that the plan? What?
Well, it could be Sam Darnold. They paid him $10 million for 1 year.
Right, but
so they're just killing segments.
You draft a guy in the top 10, although Penix. So
I'd leave it on for the ticker. That's why the 4-letter network's on.
No, I get it.
There's been enough times that something's actually happened during our show that I feel.
Well, also you put on.
How does
SportsCenter.
JJ McCarthy starting for the Vikings impact Jerry Jones and the Cowboys? Is a bigger question.
I'm trying to figure out how JJ McCarthy affects LeBron's legacy.
He beat Ohio State 3 times. That affects LeBron's legacy. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We wrap up the show with a bunch of segments combined into one. The good, the bad, and the ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. We have some final thoughts, a pick or two where we put our money behind it. Then Trent lets us know what bet he's boosting, which teams he's sprinkling, and there you go. That's coming up in about 15 minutes' time.
Speaking of betting, you and I were sent a story yesterday about gambling and a new way that people can gamble.
And once again, Miller and Moulton are very pro gambling. We know all the downsides. We get it. We're still pro gambling. But every now and then, there is a story that we are sent, which is a sign of the apocalypse being near.
Dave and Buster's are going to let players bet against each other on arcade games. You can place bets through the Dave and Buster's app. Adults 18 and over will be able to bet in real time with friends on arcade games.
Okay, it begs 2 questions. One, how much betting do they truly think is going to go on over who scores better on this arcade game, number one? But number 2, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Can't we bet against each other now?
Yes.
We just don't go through their app.
But then they don't get any money from us betting with each other. They got to get more money.
Right, but they're making it sound like, hey, this can further enhance your Dave and Buster's experience. Hey, Yahoos, I can already bet Mark as to who's going to win this game.
I mean, isn't this like the bar saying in order to bet on your game of pool, you need to use our app?
Right. You can't just put the 50 down on the pool table there and put a Q on top of it, in which everybody knows the winner of this game wins the 50.
Lord knows you still have to, your generation will still have to Venmo one another for the results of the bets because not one of you carries an ounce of cash on you.
Nobody. But I'll tell you this, off the top of my head, I would absolutely walk into a Dave & Buster's and wager against my brothers on who can get the high score on Pac-Man. I would. I'd do it. Come on. Lighten up.
If you could see the death stare that David is giving Trent right now, it's worth watching twitch.tv for. Because, Trent, you're doing a fine job. You were fired last week.
Well, and, whatever. Apparently, Mark's brought you back. I don't know. I was pretty sure I had, if it wasn't unanimous last week, I was pretty sure it was 1-0 with an abstention. You were in deep trouble last week, but okay. Trent, I'm just curious. So you and your brothers, you're going to throw it down on Pac-Man. Okay. What are you going to win? Because Miller and Moulton, we're a bunch of old fogies. We play for, wait for it, cash. Okay. What are you guys going to win? Trent, congratulations. You kicked your brother's butt in Pac-Man. And now you have what? 20,000 points at Dave & Buster's? What does that get you? Is this like the old, festival where now you go and you go, hey, I got all these tickets. Can I get that animal for my girl?
I think it kind of is like that. So
great. I'd love it. Miller and Moulton playing Pac-Man, $20. Boom. You and your brother playing $20, and one of you two's walking to the car with a stuffed animal. Honestly, I'd pay $1,000 for somebody to take a picture of it. That's cute, buddy. Yeah, I wanted playing Pac-Man at Dave & Buster's.
Where was this 30 years ago? This is what I needed, is the way to wager on video games a little more regularly.
When you were in your gambling prime?
No, when I was in my video game prime. I'm in my gambling prime right now. Who's kidding who? I can do it legally.
Yeah, right. You don't have to hide. You don't have to go through a guy.
Yeah, don't have to meet somebody at the bar and
hey, this is just like college athletics. We don't have to hide it now. You don't even have to put the cash in a brown paper bag. You can just hand them the briefcase. Hell, you can even open it up and show everybody. Look at how much money we're paying this guy, huh? You want to come here? We got more briefcases, just so you know.
It's like you said yesterday. You don't even have to go to the dealership anymore. The players don't have to make an appearance at the car dealership.
Right. 2-3 years ago, you had to show up during the offseason on Saturdays and sign autographs. Now, hell no. I'm a cornerback. I want $700,000. Okay, done. Tell you what, we'll give you $650 and you can drive away with this Toyota. Great.
You almost have to thank the Wisconsin Garden. His name escapes me. It said, no, that's now at Kansas.
Is it AJ Store?
Yes. Thank you. Who said, no, I want $1 million.
Right.
Kansas. You're going to play for you? I want $1 million. Huh.
I said, no,
come play basketball for you.
Not going to. Play 1 year of basketball in Lawrence, Kansas for $750,000? Are you serious? Not going to do that. Doesn't interest me. Kansas told him, okay, take a walk. About a month later, guess where AJ Store ended up?
Kansas. Because no one wanted to give him $1 million.
Mark, $750,000 goes a long way in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yes, it does.
I mean, Los Angeles, not that far. Lawrence, Kansas, very far. Very far. So, all right.
So we're gambling at Dave & Buster's now. They want it through their app.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. If there was an arcade game back in the 80s that you think you could win the most money by playing, what would it be? Does anything come to mind?
Galaga.
Great game.
That's I would have played someone in money for that. I'd do it today. If you're ready after the show, we'll find an arcade. There's got to be one somewhere.
Except we won't be gambling.
I mean, I played Golden Tee Golf for money for years. When I worked for the Everblades, this is back when hockey players still drank and would go on the road and go to the bar. We used to leave typically at midnight. because the buses were rented from day to day. So your rental of the bus started at midnight. We would leave at 12:15 from the arena, bus all night to whatever city we were going to, get there in the morning. The guys would practice. After practice, by about noontime, we'd find whatever bar had a Golden Tee game, and there would be 6 to 8 of us playing two-man games for $10 to $20 a game. And that was a regular thing for the last 2 years that I broadcasted the Everblades.
Then you go back to the hotel, you take your afternoon nap, and then you go and play or broadcast the hockey game. Could life be any better than that? Gambling on Golden Tee at noon, afternoon nap, falling asleep to the soap opera on, okay? And then, yeah, living the high life, baby.
David, is there a game that comes to mind?
No, I was not a great video game player, okay? I was a good pool player in college and shortly after college. I didn't lose a lot, to be perfectly honest with you. And it was a good thing because I wasn't making any money in broadcasting. So I needed to do well at night at the pool hall, which was open 24 hours, by the way, right across the street from the TV station. It was awesome.
Look at Willie Mosconi over there.
I was pretty good. I was. So Buster Douglas knock out Tyson at a pool hall in Scranton. Oh, yeah.
So video game gambling, something we've been doing for years. Now David Busters wants you to do it through their app. David thinks it's the sign of the apocalypse, and he may be right.
I don't know what's worse. Hey, congratulations. What stuffed animal do you want? Wow, you must be really good at that game. Really? This is what I win? How about a cheeseburger? I'd trade it all for a cheeseburger. Can we do that? No. Can't, no food or drink allowed. Great. Yeah, I'll be back. When? 2034. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. All coming up.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Tell David you could trade Dave and Buster's game points for food. Someone texted that.
You can?
That's what David, that's what they're texting me.
Well, okay. Well, then, all right. Then it has redeeming value. I mean, let's face it, because what wouldn't I do for a cheeseburger?
David, the place where I get my hot dogs, that Mondays, they have $2.99 cheeseburgers.
Mm. Mm.
Gonna hit a nap today?
No, too much to do. No, and Matt's Red Hots are way overrated, buried in bourbon. In my personal opinion, overpriced, overrated.
What are Matt's Red Hots?
It's a hot dog joint just down the road.
Okay.
It is it's called Michigan Coney Island. They serve a Detroit dog. It's fantastic. And I'll only go on Tuesdays when they're $2.99 because I'm cheap. $5 for a hot dog is ridiculous.
I can attest, though. They were very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, Trent had one and he took the other one home for later.
In a takeout box, a little tray.
Take that little hot dog takeout box. I'll take this, put it in my fridge, and I'll microwave it later. It'll be just fantastic.
And it was.
Because I can only have one.
I can only have one in an inning.
Monday's burger day there. Tuesday is hot dog day there. $2.99 burgers on Monday, $2.99 dogs on Tuesday.
How big is the dog?
It's a
foot long?
No,
or a regular dog.
Regular dog.
That's not a great deal. $2.99 for a dog.
They cost $5 everywhere now to get a hot dog. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, not where Trent goes for his food. I mean, they cost $5 at 7-Eleven, Trent?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
You can get like 3 of them for $2.99.
My Mexican place is closed while they're redoing the place for a couple of months. This is
what the hell?
They're making it bigger and better. I'm excited for them.
Oh, okay. I thought they were just redoing,
Apparently, they're giving away the day that they reopen. He's giving away food for free the entire day.
Have you been to Dos Sabores? On
Three Oaks?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. They just shut down.
They did?
For 2 months. He's he expanded. There's a Chinese place next to it that closed down.
The wall out?
So they're redoing it. A buddy of mine's the contractor for the whole thing.
Okay, well, good for them.
Exactly. They're doing free food their first day back, Trent.
We're going.
There you go.
I've been there like 3 times.
Have you really?
Yes, I like it.
It's
there a lot.
wonderful.
Yep. Next to my go-to 7-Eleven.
That's your go-to 7-Eleven? That might be the shadiest 7-Eleven in Southwest Florida.
It's awful. It depends which way I'm going. If I'm going towards whatever.
The one right before Mount Estero?
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're done talking. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Don't have a single guest lined up for tomorrow. Have plenty of ideas. I've reached out to a bunch of people. But has anyone confirmed as of yet? No. So Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, usually it's around this time we start promoting tomorrow's show. Thursday is TBA. Not to be confused with TBS. Very funny.
Can be compared to TBD.
TBA or TBD? Which do you prefer?
I'm indifferent. I'm fine with either.
See, TBA makes it sound as if you know what you're going to do. You just haven't announced it yet.
It's actually TBD.
Yes, it's always when Miller and Moulton TBD.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Mark, the only thing that involves Miller and Moulton, which is TBA, is when we're going to be fired. I mean, we know it's happening. It's
Just when.
Just when.
1840 we start out today. Big day, David. The first adhesive postage stamp.
Oh, my goodness.
Penny Black is the name of the stamp used in England.
That's like a top 10 invention in my world.
I would think so.
The stamp?
Babe Ruth hits his first home run as a Yankee today in 1920. 1931, the Empire State Building opens. 1939, Batman first appears in Detective Comics number 27. I'm guessing if you had that comic book, it would be worth a little bit of money. Movie Citizen Kane premiered today in 1941. And also today in 41, General Mills introduces Cheerios. They would rename it Cheerios in 1945.
You know, that has stood the test of time, wouldn't you
Yeah, right,
say?
it has.
I mean, that's almost 85 years there. Come to think of it, I mean, it's the most plain cereal out there. Cheerios or cornflakes, which is more plain?
Cornflakes.
And that could have been our poll question today.
Son of a... Citation won the Derby today in 48. Eddie Arcaro would win his record fourth Derby on board.
And wasn't Citation the last Triple Crown winner until Secretariat?
That is correct, David.
Son of a...
Today in 88, Jordan goes for 55. He had gone for 50 in the previous playoff game to be the first player to go back-to-back 50 spots.
Was that at the Garden?
No, it was against Cleveland.
When was the 55 against the... Okay, I just thought... Never mind.
Actually, the 55 game at the Garden was like his fifth game back from his first retirement.
Okay.
And he was still wearing number 45. And he put a double nickel on the Knicks at the Garden. And they gave him a standing ovation as he walked off at the end of the game.
Today in 91, Nolan Ryan throws a no-no at the age of 44, his seventh no-hitter and the oldest ever to do so. 1999, big day. SpongeBob SquarePants debuts.
Wow.
You know the song. You can sing it. There's not a doubt in my mind that if I pressured Trent to sing the SpongeBob theme song, he could belt it out right now.
You know what? Wasn't allowed to watch it.
Really? What?
My mom did not.
Yeah, your dad wouldn't have cared.
Well, he wasn't home. He was at work, but my mom did not let us watch SpongeBob. I don't know why.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Well, I know the basics, but I could not sing the whole song to you. I really couldn't.
Wow. All right.
Hate to be lame.
The movie Gladiator premiered today in 2000, and Bonds was the first to hit a home run into the San Francisco Bay today in 2000. He would end up hitting 35 into the Bay. Today in 2005, Messi had his first goal for Barcelona at the age of 17. Chuck Bednarik and Calamity Jane both born today. Jockey Steve Cawthon is 63. Tim McGraw is 57. Curtis Martin is 51. And Wes Welker is 43. What did I miss, David?
Two things of note. Ford, the car maker.
Yeah.
They began the 40-hour work week today in 26. Workers used to work a lot more than that. All right. And so they decided today was the day that they would, and I don't know why every time I tap on this Capital One ad pops up. I really don't. I try to mute it. I try to get it off. It won't do it. I don't. It's the only.
On the left, there's two buttons.
No, I'm
one goes
aware.
up.
I really
the
am.
other one goes down.
Just
if you keep the volume in the down position, even if the ad goes off, we won't hear it.
No, the funny thing is I have all those buttons down to 0, but the little pop-up ad, I don't know, and my phone is messed up. Elvis and Priscilla got married today in 67.
What was she, 18?
Wow, that's a good question. How old was Elvis? Was 24. All right. And I'll look up how old she was.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
For the good today, we go to the DEA, where they are making a groundbreaking change in their drug classification system, and they are going to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. Up until this point, it was classified at the same level as heroin. I'm not joking. It's legal all over the country, including medically in the state of Florida, but it was classified as the same category as smack. Way to go, DEA. You're only about 40 years too late.
By the way, Priscilla was 21, about 3 weeks shy of 22.
Okay.
When she married Elvis, who was 24.
For the bad, we go to Miami and the airport, where TSA was able to catch a man who was trying to bring in snakes through a checkpoint. He had a bag of snakes in his pants. Not making this up. Little pink snakes. Everything about this seems like a made-up story.
Yeah, it does.
But it's not. Snakes on a plane, snakes in his pants. He was busted.
Well, The One was a terrible movie. And I have to admit, this story doesn't sound much better.
Finally, the ugly. We go to Wauchula, Florida, where an Arcadia man decided to meet a Wauchula woman after they connected online. She invited him in the house, tried to seduce him, then demanded money. Man thought things were off, tried to leave. She tried to block him from leaving. As he was running away, she pulled out her gun and started shooting at him. Crystal Skiba was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder. She did so while her 2 children were at home. That's quite a lady, and that's today's winner in the good, the bad, and the ugly on May the 1st, 2024. Those Wauchula women, you got to be careful.
I mean, them and Palatka. No doubt about it. So, listen, the playoffs were great last night. Playoffs have been entertaining so far this week. Let's see if we can do it again, shall we? Tonight in the association, we got 2 games, both of them on TNT. Celtics 14.5 at home. This was the exact same point spread they were favored in game 2 at home when the Heat went and beat them. Now the Celtics trying to eliminate the Heat. 14.5 point favorites. What do you think?
It's a lot to lay. I think the Celtics get it done. I'm not sure they cover that big number, but when they've acted like they've cared in this series, they've had no problem covering, David.
The Heat, for the record, in the regular season, second best team in the league against the spread on the road.
They also made it rain in game 2 in Boston.
Right.
So
23 threes. They haven't done anything close to that since. I mean, the list of players that didn't even make the trip to Boston from Miami is impressive enough. 10 o'clock, Dallas at LA. Mavs a 3.5 point favorite on the road. That screams that Kawhi is not going to play. If that's the case, Mark, the Clippers are 2-0 without Kawhi, 0-2 with Kawhi.
That's crazy.
Yes. NHL tonight. Couple of games, both on the 4-letter network. So TNT's got hoops, ESPN's got hockey. 7:30, best playoff series going. Vegas at Dallas. Home teams are 0-4 in the series. Series obviously then tied at 2. 10 o'clock, Oilers should put the Kings to bed. They're up 3-1. Game 5 is in Edmonton.
And in the two markets that we remain on the air in, a big one tonight for both.
Oh, my
Game
goodness.
7, Jacksonville and the Everblades in the ECHL. Everblades forcing a Game 7 last night by winning on the road, have to do so twice in as many nights to try to keep their quest for a three-peat alive.
Winner gets Orlando in the next round, so both teams will stay in state. All right. This is a huge. Remember, for years, the Blades had to get over the championship hump.
Yes.
There was not much that the Blades hadn't done, but they had, not won the Kelly Cup. And then obviously they won the one, and now they've won back-to-back. Okay. Jacksonville can't beat the Blades. The Blades have eliminated them from the playoffs, I think, 3 times in a row. And Jacksonville was better than the Blades during the regular season. Jacksonville is home ice in this series. And it's not just 2-2-1-1-1. It's 2-3-2. And they come home with 2 chances to win 1 game. And they get outplayed last night, Mark. The barn was quiet.
Well, they were up 3-1 in the series. They lost the last game at Hertz. And then they lost last night.
The Blades are in Jacksonville's head as an organization. Jacksonville has admitted this is our biggest rival. It's not Orlando, which is 2 hours away. It's the Blades, who are 5+ hours away. This is the team they got to beat. This really was, I thought, this was Panthers Lightning. Panthers had to beat the Lightning in the playoffs. They have to. Tampa Bay owns the state. Tampa Bay's won cups. Tampa Bay's beaten Florida every time in the playoffs. It's the same thing, only at the ECHL level here. One team's won cups, the other hasn't. One team's owned them in the playoffs. Now here we are. And I know, Mark, the players and coaches come and go in minor league hockey and what have you. Blades took them out in the second round last year. Just disposed of them. Split like the first 2 and then boom, get out of here. This is a lot of those guys are back. Jacksonville's in first place most of the year. Blew it late, finished second. And they get Orlando, who finished in 4th, by the way. Orlando won the first round series. Orlando won a clinching game of the series. They got outshot like 43-20. So, both these teams think they win tonight. They're going to win the next round, and they're going through to the Final Four, if you will. It's a huge game for the Jacksonville Icemen. Huge. And the Blades are just showing up like,
it's just another game for us.
Another big playoff game.
And they're done that.
We seem to win these. Yeah. Craig Brush had another night in Jacksonville. He's probably playing golf today. A lot of nice courses around.
Ooh, will he be playing golf on the day of a Game 7? That's an interesting question. I don't think so. He'll be at the pregame skate. He'll be bending the coach's ear. I don't think Brush is playing golf today.
You think so? He's got a lot of faith in this coach. This coach has been around a while. They're joined at the hip.
There you go.
But yeah, Game 7 tonight at the Jacksonville. They don't call it this anymore, but the Jacksonville Memorial Coliseum.
Best words in sports. Game 7.
No
Absolutely.
doubt.
Are you going?
No, went last night.
Okay, I know. That's why I didn't know if you're going back.
Got stuff tonight. All right, got to watch the granddaughter, and it really wouldn't work. So no.
So a big Game 7 there. Obviously, baseball. They're doing all that baseball stuff.
Yeah, just everybody's playing. They're playing the same teams they were playing yesterday. Figure it out.
Tomorrow on the show is TBD.
Yes.
Not to be confused with TBA or TBS. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow morning.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.